Welcome to Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. I'm your host, Dave West, codename Phantom Troublemaker, and this is our 200th episode extravaganza.
Woo! 200!
And I am your co-host, Noel Wood, codename Crapshoot.
And I'm your Cobra intern that's celebrating this bicentennial with a new touring show of Cobra Sings, codename Legion Cub.
Oh, I like the sound of that. Why wasn't there a G.I. Joe on Ice in the 80s?
That was
G.I. Joe.
Well, they waited until
license
the
to print
90s
money.
when they brought in Sergeant Savage. Wasn't he on ice? And they thought him out.
Maybe we should just move on now. You can follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. Click that follow button. On Instagram, follow us at Audible Interlude Podcast. It's the best place to interact with us. We'll mention another one in just a minute here, but I want to make sure we put over that Instagram because share the Instagram. Tell your friends. That's one of the best places for us to grow, to expand, for people to find out about us. It's where we've gotten the most growth. And while you're there, check out the pinned stories and get yourselves some Audible Interlude merchandise. We've got lots of shirts. You can get hats. You can get shorts. The shorts are good quality. Honestly, I'm not very happy with where the printing is on the shorts, but they are nice shorts. You can get phone cases and mouse pads and maybe a mouse cozy. That's one to work on. The Audible Interlude mouse cozy. I think I would like to see sometime soon. But while you're at Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram, check that out. You are watching us live on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Lots of stuff going up very, very soon, like this guy. Oh, look at that big, giant, satisfyingly chunky robot boy. The Snake review, it's not going to go up till next week because I've got stuff left over from Joe Lanta. I've got a couple other things going up this week. But next week, that Snake review is going up, as well as I kind of surprised myself because I opened this before I opened the Snake. Just because this was the version of this I was more excited for. The HMS, which I still don't love that name. The HMS is great, but this, with this Hawk, with his flat top, that portrait, I can't put the helmet on this one because I've got to see that flat top. I don't want the helmet on it.
I'm still waiting for mine. But...
Okay, so you did order one of these? I can't remember if you guys skipped this one or not.
No, I mean, I got the Cobra version, and I was definitely going to get the Joe version.
Okay. Yeah, I knew you had the HMS because you got on that one long before I did.
I mean, it is a companion to my Hiss tank.
C.S. Sherman jumping in with adding big, giant, and satisfyingly chunky to my dating profile. That's why we're here at Audible Interlude.
You and me both. And then in addition to all of that, so Wednesday, I'll be putting up my Joe Lanta haul. I'll go through all the stuff I picked up at Joe Lanta here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. And then tomorrow, anybody here familiar with Effin' Birds?
Yes.
Yes.
My wife is a huge fan.
I interviewed Aaron Reynolds, who's the creator of Effin' Birds. That interview goes up tomorrow. And it's funny that you say your wife is a huge fan because that's the case with me too. We talk about that. So everybody be sure and watch it. It's worth watching the video on this one, although an audio version will be available as well. But when I told him my wife is a huge fan, he was like, that's my demographic. But it's,
yeah. And
go ahead.
I was gonna say that she always talks to him at Dragon Con. She always buys stuff from him whenever we're there. He's a delight. Like he likes to do she gets the calendar from him, and he'll go and hide insults in certain pages of the calendar. Yes. If you're there with your spouse, he'll ask the spouse, "When's her birthday?" And you'll fill it in, and then on the surprise, you'll see the insult to you. But yeah, he's a funny guy.
Yeah, that's where I met him, was at Dragon Con, because I ended up sticking around on Monday, which I don't normally do. And we had a great conversation there. And then he said he'd come on the show. So we did the interview, and it's awesome. It's one of the most fun interviews I've done. So everybody check that out tomorrow. Shirts and more schedule. What else is happening next week? We continue our reviews of Pyramid of Darkness, episode 3. We will be reviewing next week. And then our next live stream here on the Needless Things YouTube channel is October the 13th. We may or may not do spooky things. It kind of really just depends on how everything lands, if we have anything spooky to talk about. We've covered, in 5 years, we have kind of scraped the bottom of what G.I. Joe has to offer as far as like straightforward Halloween scary type stuff.
To be fair, did we think we were going to be doing this 5 years later when we started doing that?
Yeah, of course. No.
Yeah.
How could you? How could you doubt? Let's see. And now
I didn't think I'd still be standing.
Well, yeah, that's very true. 5 years ago, we thought we were going through hard times. We didn't know what hard times were. We also have the Audible Army Facebook group. I'm going to put the link in our chat right now. So if you're watching us live, you can just jump in the chat, and here is the link. And if you are not watching us live, the best way to get into the Facebook group is go to Audible Army Podcast or Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram. Shoot us a message with your email address, and we'll add you that way. That's the easiest way to do it. But we have fun in there. We always put up links to talk about what's going on in the episodes. And we have a lot of our pals share things that they've written, things they put together, whatever the case may be. So it's a really good G.I. Joe community. And I'm approving memberships right now. Be sure you answer the membership questions, by the way. They're very simple, but we want to be clear about what the rules of the group are. And the biggest rule is everybody have fun and be respectful. So let's talk a little bit about Joe Lanta. Noel, you and I were there.
Yeah.
We had a blast. It was an honor on Saturday to be able to do this panel with a number of incredible celebrity guests. First of all, Michael Charles Hill was there to talk about how Special Mission Brazil came about. We heard the new voice of Cobra Commander. Claymore was given the voice he deserves for the first time ever. We had an actual legitimate voice actor helping us out. It was a blast. It was an honor to be there in the room with this guy who wrote, cartoons that we grew up with, things that inspired us and influenced us when we were kids. He was there watching us perform his words. It was an amazing experience.
And critiquing us.
Oh.
I mean, all good.
Yeah.
His closing comment to us was that was better than the original, which
the bar is in the ditch somewhere, but it's fine. We got over it.
I mean, I was genuinely excited all weekend while I was at work for you all, but now hearing that he critiqued you, that makes me even happier, you jerks.
Well, it was heartbreaking that you weren't there. Like, I was genuinely sad that you weren't able to make it because it was a special experience. And the audio and the video will both be available in the coming weeks.
I love that. And where did where did your standee come from?
So those were available. Those are a special deal. Who is the artist that does those, Noel? Do you know off the top of your head?
Can't remember his name, but he's at every Joe Lanta Toylanta. He has stand-ups of a lot of Joe characters, but also like Universal Monsters and many other characters. And he also does magnets and stuff.
So that Claymore was a Joe Lanta exclusive that I brought one home with me, which, by the way, Buddy hates. He was down here barking earlier, and I was like, what are you barking at? And then I went over and picked it up, and he lost his mind.
Man,
and I will say,
Claymore.
if you take that Claymore into a room and stand it somewhere, and then like unpack your luggage, go to the bathroom, do a couple other things, and kind of halfway forget that it's there, and then turn around, it does look like a little person standing there staring at you, and is a little upsetting. I'm not going to lie.
It
so
reminds me of the time when I
Claymores.
worked in the videos. Reminds me of the time when I worked at a video store and the movie Time Cop had just come out on VHS, and we had a Time Cop standee that was 6 feet tall, and he was holding a gun. So I'm closing the store at night, and I turn on all the house lights, and of course I just glance up, and there's this silhouette of a man standing there holding a pistol, and I freaked out because it was Jean-Claude Van Damme. Whoa!
Super quick.
Oh, wow.
Mini Pete says 2D Designs, I think is his name, but also Brian Fabian.
Brian Fabian in the super chat. Amazing. Thank you so much. Anything that comes in the super chat all goes back into production, hosting. This stuff is not free to do, but it is free to you. So any help you give us in the super chat or anywhere else all goes right back into the show. Thank you so much for your support, Brian. And actually, that reminds me, approve one more in the Audible Army Facebook group. Okay. So anyway, that was Jolanta was amazing. Did you end up spending any money at all? You were very conservative over the weekend.
I spent about,
aside from your lunch,
$11 on a hamburger and some chips, and then another like $13 on a nacho bowl and a soda. So yes, that's all that I did. I did not buy anything at Jolanta in the toy room.
Very disciplined of you.
Yeah.
I did. I got a lot of stuff, but it's all. This might be my best toy haul from a show. Like overall, everything that I got is really cool, really special, like I can't walk away from this kind of thing. Although I got to ask you. Oh, well, I'll go ahead and say it here because the video goes up in a little bit. So I got that Night Raven. And I can't remember, does Toy Department, they don't usually include the pilot automatically, do they?
No.
Okay.
No.
So that
when they sell their vehicles, they sell them complete.
Okay.
But without
the vehicle's
without the
complete.
drivers.
But now, okay. So I need to get a Strato Viper because I got home and I was like, wait, there's no Strato Viper. And then I thought back to the Mambas that we got and a couple other things I've gotten from them. And I realized like, oh, they don't just include the pilot, which it's not an expensive figure. So it's not going to be a big deal to get one. Still makes that Night Raven.
I saw they still had those Tomahawks up at that price on Sunday. And
oh, really?
Believe me, I was tempted because I had a wad of cash in my hands and I could have like, hey, it's the last hour of the show. You want to part with that for a little less? But I did not.
They would.
I've got a Tomahawk.
Well, yeah. I thought about that on Sunday, but the MMS and Slaughter. Oh yeah, these are also here. I just haven't had time to do a video for them yet. So Slice and Dice and Slaughter and Mercer all also coming soon on the channel. So yeah, those charged Saturday night, and I was just like, I don't need to go back and spend any more money at Jolanta. I can't do it.
Little did you know what was coming down the pipeline on Monday.
Oh my gosh. Well, we'll get to that. And great segue because it is time now for, okay, wait. Put up Brett's comment.
Hasbro turned on the hose. I'm drowning in pre-orders.
Okay, so that's true. But this morning it was, you get to drink from the fire hose from Big Bad Toy Store. We'll get to that. Boy, All right. So, yeah, it is officially news time. Rise of Nexus, who I spoke to at Joe Lanta. The Kickstarter is launched. I am going to be talking to the creator again. We had him on the show on Needless Things, I think a couple of months ago when he was still in the planning stages and putting together some really good stuff. These are just paint masters here done by the incredible Matthew LaCroix, who I also got to talk to at Joe Lanta. All the figures look amazing. What you see in this image right here, if you're watching us on YouTube, in the front, obviously you can tell that this figure is inspired by some sort of escape. Perhaps the city is burning. But then in the back, there is a white painted variant, but the base of this figure might remind you of Cobra Commander's son in some way. And a lot of these figures are very sort of homage heavy. But the line looks great. It's another exciting O-ring line to add to the ranks. Take a look at the Rise of Nexus Kickstarter. It is live now, and it has, what'd you say, Noel, 23 days left?
It's got 23 days.
23 days left. And they're a little over halfway through, but this one needs to go through because these figures are looking amazing. And he's working on a board game to go with the figures that will also accommodate your other O-ring action figure lines. So this is more than just figures. Got a little news from Legends of the Hidden Force as well. No images, but just an update that the invoice has been sent to the factory and production is starting. So hopefully maybe by second quarter next year, we'll have some figures in hand. We'll see how it goes. And a Robo Skull update. Very exciting news. The next phase has been completed by the factory and is moving towards fulfillment. They're thrilled to report that the Red Shadows container is scheduled for pickup and will then be loaded onto a vessel. Phase D product headed for deployment. The Robo Knight heavy metal armor accessory with bonus 4-inch Robonaut kit. The 6-inch pilot character kit with bonus 6-inch Robonaut kit. The 6-inch Wolf Trooper. The 6-inch Gyre Wolf, and the 6-inch Jungle Wolf Trooper. These figures and accessories are exceptional, and we cannot wait to get them into your hands. They still need to travel via ocean freight to our fulfillment center, so it will be several weeks before you receive your shipping notice. As always, we'll keep you updated. So the good news there is we'll have these before Christmas. It's going to be, there's so much product coming from everybody between now and the end of the year. It's crazy. But the good news about this is it's all paid for. Well, if you backed it on Kickstarter, it's all paid for. So let's talk now. We discussed these a bit during the panel at Joe Lanta, but let's get a little deeper into them. The newest wave of Super 7 Reaction Plus. Well, and Kristian, you didn't get to talk about them. We need your valuable input from the Cobra intern. Let's talk about these 4 figures that went up for sale. Was it last Monday or last Wednesday? I don't know. Last week sometime.
It's last week.
Yeah,
mine haven't shipped yet. So
mine did. I got the notification today.
Well, you did the 4-pack, and yep. I think Super 7 prioritizes that, which I don't blame them. I would be that petty also. So Pythona with soft goods cape that you can see has a nice purple lining and it looks like a black exterior on it. Comes with the gem. And one of the things we discussed on Saturday is with how Super 7 has done accessories like this, like the Spore that came with the Snake Cobra Commander, it's not like you're going to have to balance it in her hands most likely. It's not going to have like a grip on the bottom or anything like that.
Yeah, but it's large enough, I think, to where, as we talked about, you can probably put your hands out and you could, yeah.
Kristian?
Lover. I did when I ordered the regular color edition Gore from Super Commandos, White Elephant Toys.
Yeah.
So they have on sale the 4-inch hooded cloak for their Strike Force Alpha figures. So I ordered one of those to swap out for her. I'm super excited.
Oh, that's a good idea. Excited. And I want one of the regular color Gargons, and I should have just gotten into Jolanta, but like I said, I was already kind of spending what I wanted to spend. But that's a great idea, getting one of those capes for her.
Two things that I didn't talk about when we were doing this before. Number one is I'm curious about her hair to see if it's like a softer rubber. Because I don't think it's going to be the standard plastic.
Right. Will it be a separate piece that's inserted into the back of her head, or is it part of the? I doubt it's part of the head sculpt.
No, I'm sure. I would think it's a separate piece, and I presume it's probably a softer plastic. But number two, this is going to be controversial. Getting her in this form factor means I'm probably not going to care about getting a classified version of her.
Oh, wow.
I didn't get Nemesis Immortal.
Oh, okay.
I remember that.
Yeah, so like I'm not that interested in getting Cobra Line classified.
Well, you know what? That's a good point. Super 7 beating them to the punch on that one is one, a little surprising, knowing what Hasbro's done in the past. But is a good point, because I would have said this Pythona was more important to me to get, but I did get Nemesis Immortal, and that classified Pythona does look amazing.
Yeah, she looks great, but I just like.
Yeah, no, I get it. I
gotta watch what I'm buying, and she's probably going to be $45 when she comes out.
Yeah, right.
So,
so let's talk about Big Lob.
Yeah,
looks great. Looks like you should look.
Yeah, and like I mean, they did the O-ring figures, the Collectors Club exclusive years ago, but it was like, I can't remember what they used. Was it Bazooka's shirt? Yeah, I think they just used Bazooka's shirt.
I don't think I realized they did him as an O-ring.
They did him as an O-ring, and but this one actually is proportioned the way that we want this figure to be proportioned. He's taller and he's lankier, and he's got the head is the right shape. So
love that he comes with a laser rifle. I mean, he looks great. He looks exactly like when you're a little kid. This is what you picture. Only if he had come out in '87, he might not have been tall like he appears to be. I don't know if Hasbro would have made him as tall as he should be.
No, I mean, they had a couple figures that were slightly taller, like, Sergeant Slaughter was a little bit taller than your usuals.
Right,
but it's not that noticeable unless you're standing right next to another character.
Well, and it makes me wonder, if they finish up the Rawhides and we get a Tunnel Rat, will they make him a little shorter than the other O-rings? I would hope so.
Yeah.
Scale Model Joe's chimes in with the Collectors Club Big Lob was mostly a Mercer repaint.
Wow, I'm going to have to go look that up, because that doesn't make any sense in my head.
I feel like they use the Bazooka. I think they use the Bazooka torso, though, to get the 14 on there.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
So this Destro looks fantastic. I did not order. I only ordered Pythona and Big Lob. I didn't order Destro and Snake Eyes, but I will later. It's just right now I'm budgeting. But this looks great.
Same. Yeah. This Destro, like, this doesn't even have to be Arctic gear Destro. This is just I'm trying to use,
as we pointed out, it's very similar.
It's a very good amazing Destro.
I mean, this is like almost, this could have been like a V2 Destro. Like, it's that good that this might have replaced your regular Destro back in the day.
Yeah. And I've seen some comments about, like, how they did, how they figured out to do his coat long. And if they wanted to do Dr. Venom, like his lab coat, because, I'm a soft goods guy, but if they wanted to do something like this, I'd be all for it.
I'd be interested to see how they accomplish that. We discussed on Saturday that they went with, now granted, we don't know what this actual figure looks like yet. We've only seen these renders. Clearly that's a plastic. We don't know if it's a softer plastic. We don't know how they've done this exactly.
Well, and notice it's split too, so it's not just one piece that wraps around. It's split in the middle.
Right. In the back, it's like tails. So I'll be curious to see that. I almost wish I'd ordered it just to see exactly how it works. Like I said, I'll get it at some point. And then finally, Arctic Snake Eyes, which, I mean, it looks cool, and I love the bandolier on top of the parka, but this one was really, I don't need this for me.
Yeah, he was definitely the least interesting one for me, but I figured if I'm getting the 3, I might as well. And I've thus far, I've been a completionist on all these Super 7 O-ring figures.
No, you haven't. You've been a completist, because completionist is not a word.
It is now.
Oh, no. Unfortunately, it has been for many years. So great wave, though. I'm very happy with the wave because we got a couple of things directly from the movie. We got a couple of things that are more Sunbow. Although, okay, so off the top of my head, I don't remember Arctic Snake Eyes. I'm sure it happened. I'm sure it was a thing, but can anybody pinpoint where we saw this look?
He was in the movie, wasn't it, with this?
Was
But
he
that's
in the
how
movie
good
like
of a
this?
ninja he is.
Yeah.
So were these all the movie then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because that's what they're being touted as in their
And I
ad.
saw the
It's movie Wave 2.
okay.
Brett says it's in the first act when Cobra attacks the BET.
I think it's
Which
less
was
that
that-
Snake Eyes is a ninja and more that he's so utterly unimportant to the movie plot.
Or
Mhm.
most of G.I. Joe cartoons as well, but
I'll put Brett's most
I
recent
am-
comment up there.
and
Let's put that over.
Non-shameless plug, because we love some Pop Heist.
That's right.
Check out the screen grab of it in the lead art of Pop Heist's interview with Brian Flynn.
Everybody check out Pop Heist. All right, moving on. This is really weird. So Hasbro announced, was it Saturday, maybe Friday, Saturday, that there are going to be 82 variant card back releases of the retro card back Flint that have this art as opposed to the AI art. Just weird all around. We got to talk about it Saturday. Kristian, what is your take on this?
So I do like this artwork better, not just because it's not AI. I just think that Flint looks a little older and gruffer.
His head's not as big.
But see, I am usually not a big fan of doing chase figure stuff like this because it makes the toy weasels get involved and just ruin it. So,
well, and this barely qualifies as chase. 82 out of like how many tens
Right.
of thousands of these
Right.
figures are going to go out?
and I am crossing my fingers that I get one simply because I am not a mint on card collector, and I'm gonna make that YouTube short, ripping that
Opening
package
it?
open.
It's going to be
and-
like
and rage
gonna be like-
views still count as views.
those videos when like people were getting the PS5s and like smashing them with hammers in front of everybody.
Oh, wow. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, well, actually, this
No.
goes back to like the Wii. Like people were getting Wiis or PS3s and smashing them in front of people.
Ugh,
Yeah, on
That's
their YouTube
gross.
channels.
that's
Nowhere
gross.
Man Child says multi-fingered Wild Bill gives this 3 thumbs up.
So the art is by Rich Pellegrino, and I would love to see Rich draw like some monsters, Wolfman, Creature, Dracula. This style doesn't necessarily lend itself to G.I. Joe for my tastes. It's better than the AI art, but I don't know. It's not something I feel like I need. But the weird thing about this to me is when you're doing a run of 82, then you're giving people permission to not be completists. You're saying, yeah, you know what? Don't worry about having everything mint on card because we're going to make it impossible. And that has always been a questionable decision to me.
Mhm.
Tom Don
Next,
Henry says,
oh,
I
there we go.
swear I thought it was Stallone as I was scrolling.
That would be great.
And
pop that head on a Rocky Balboa. Let's go.
And it's interesting to hear you say that, like, that style of artwork doesn't fit Joe for you, because I'm sure there's plenty of other people that feel the same way. To me, it does look very 1970s DC War comics. Not Joe Kubert art, but that very scratchy kind of dark, moody, heavy.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And I love the fact that you can tell the background there is part of the painting. Like they didn't just pop his art on top of the existing explosion.
It actually forms around the figure.
Yeah, it is cool, but there's no meat on the bone for me here. Got some shipping updates to run through. I'm going to go through these really fast because we're already going kind of long, and we've got a lot of guests to get to tonight. The MMS obviously is here now from Amazon. Big Bad is soon or November. Pulse still says November 1st. Desert Scorpion, Amazon now says October 24th. Big Bad, I got the notification that it's shipping soon, but it's still showing December on their website. And then Pulse is December 1st. Sci-Fi, Wetsuit, Mainframe, and the Grim Viper are still showing next year, some of them on Amazon. So Mainframe and Grim Viper are next year. Wetsuit is showing January 2nd. Sci-Fi is showing January 20th for Amazon. Big Bad, they're all showing January. Pulse, they're all showing December 15th. So we're going to have those before the end of the year, which is something we weren't positive about just as recently as a couple of weeks ago.
I don't know, December 15th with DHL during the weeks of Christmas.
Yeah, that's a
You're not going to get that till the next year.
Yeah, it's a good point. Sergeant Mercer, again, Amazon already delivered mine, but it's still showing November 19th. Big Bad, I got the notification that they're shipping soon. And then Pulse is showing October 1st. Retro Cardback, Bat, and Green Shirt, Amazon showing December 2nd. Big Bad showing December. Pulse is showing December 1st. So those are the only ones that are kind of on track everywhere to hit at the same time. Budo, Amazon says November 19th. Big Bad is any day now, and Pulse is showing December 1st. Awstrikers holding firm at December 1st. Steeler and Short Fuse, Pulse is saying November 1st. Target saying November 9th. And finally, the Steel Core Post is showing 11/1, November 1st on Pulse. So those are our classified pre-order updates, which we're not going to do a ton, but just because so much stuff is hitting right now, I wanted to kind of sit down, take a look, and see what's coming when. Oh, yeah, throw up Yorktown.
That's what I was thinking when you said it. Pulse, Yorktown Joe says, Pulse charged me for Desert Scorpion over the weekend. Same here.
And so I didn't bother ordering him from Pulse because Pulse had such a run of being the last to deliver. And I was kind of annoyed with them at the time. So I didn't order him from Pulse, of course, because that's how it goes.
I did get the we'll be charging you soon email for Battle Armor Cobra Commander from Pulse. Now that everyone else has had it,
for like a month.
Yeah.
And then finally, we all get to drink from the fire hose. Oh, no, wait. Oh, that's right. I threw this one in there. Today, Render Reveal, Hit and Run, who had previously been name revealed. I think it was at San Diego Comic-Con, if I'm not mistaken. What do you think, guys?
It looks great. I'm just going to say he's never been a figure that I have any sort of attachment to. So I think the camo on the face looks good, but it doesn't. There's nothing about this figure that oohs and ahs me, but I'm sure it will for plenty of other people.
Yeah, I know this is a fan favorite character, or at least a fan favorite figure. It's not one that was ever, because it was after my time collecting, so it wasn't one that was ever a huge one for me. But I mean, I think it does look good. It's got a good loadout. It looks like it's got. I don't know if it has string. I'm presuming it does because it's got all these things that attach.
It's been
to string.
confirmed that it will come with string, although it's chances are it's going to be that whatever the safety maximum is, so 12 inches or whatever, you may want to replace it.
Yeah. It's you've got the hook on the belt, and you've got all these things that will attach to it. Yeah, I mean it looks like a good figure. We got the scrap iron / airborne legs. It looks like, is that what that is? It's got those same.
I mean, certainly not the knees. I don't think.
Oh yeah, I guess not, because it doesn't have the knee pads, but it does have the braces that I think that they used on those two figures.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see actual product images. My only issue is I feel like they matched the camo on the fatigues to the camo on the face. It's a little thin. I don't love it. But again, when we see the actual figure photos, we'll have a better idea of what it looks like, because that kind of stuff sometimes changes slightly once you get to the actual physical product. But overall, I feel like they got the colors right. It is a little funny that his arms and his fingers are green, even though that's how the original figure was. Once you throw the gloves on top of that, for some reason, it's kind of he almost looks like he's Poison Ivy. But overall, I mean, he looks good. I'm certainly going to get him, and he's got the bag up there, which looks like it is plastic. I'll be curious to see how that functions, because I imagine you'll be able to store stuff in it. It can't just be a slug, like a solid plastic. So I'll be curious to see how that works. But very exciting render. I mean, this is, as you said, one of the most anticipated figures of Classified. This shows up on all the lists. I think it's on anybody who was around for 88, right? I think he's on their top 10 list. And I would imagine this pre-order, if we're seeing the render now, he'll probably be part of the New York Comic-Con pre-orders in a couple of weeks. All right, now we get to the fire hose. So this is my inbox from this morning, full of Operation Monster Force arriving soon notifications from Big Bad Toy Store. And we'll just take a look. There are 10 figures coming in usually within a week. Once you get that email, it's usually within 7 to 10 days you're going to get charged. The Apophis Legion, Zombie Trooper, the General with all the multiple heads, which, my gosh, looking at those portraits, I want 4 of that figure, but not at $37 a piece. I don't. Halloween Boy, who I've gone back and forth on, but since he is now going to arrive during October, I have to get that review in. Dr. Caligari, which was a must-have from the start. Lieutenant Griffin, which we got both alternate versions before we got the actual Lieutenant Griffin, which is the sort of the Invisible Man type figure. Sleepwalker Aerial Trooper with the jetpack. The Apophis Legion terrorist counterterrorism figure, which is essentially a Cobra Trooper, but a zombie. The Donner Party, their version of Frankenstein. It got so tiny I can't read it anymore. The Black Watch, with the swappable demon head, and then the Black Watch head pack with all the different heads you can use on that body. So buy yourself 6 Black Watch figures and really just do it up.
Steve Martin says, you didn't get the hose. You got the whole dang fire truck.
You are not kidding, Steve Martin.
He's drawing from his time in the movie Roxanne when he played a fireman.
Who, by the way, my third favorite, Stevie Martin.
My phone was blowing up while I was in the waiting room today. I'm just like, oh, here's another one and another one. And I'm just like, great. Now, when they do the whole thing, my blood pressure is going to be through the roof and they're going to be like diet. And I'm like, no, pre-orders.
Right. Well, you're looking at over $350 worth of product right here that's getting ready to hit. So just be ready. And that wraps up our news segment, which fortunately we had more than we've had the last few times.
Of course, it all drops this week.
But fortunately, we didn't have too much, because now it is time to get into, this is our 200th episode, and I wanted to do something special, and that meant bringing in guests. We wanted Audible Army members to come in, do segments, share their G.I. Joe stories, and just have fun on the show. So what we're going to do is we're going to have some, we're turning it over to the Audible Army, essentially, which may be a terrible idea. I don't know. But let's get down to business with our first guest. You know him if you're a member of Audible, the Audible Army Facebook group. You have access to the Audible Interlude Wiki. This is the man behind the Audible Interlude Wiki, who has done countless hours of work. Welcome to the show, Scale Model Joes. What is happening?
Hey guys, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you sound great.
All right, I'm Audible on Audible Interlude.
That's all we asked for. Well, I guess we do ask for you to be visible for the Needless Things YouTube channel. So walk us through this project. You hit me up longer ago. Like, it took me too long to get back to you, but there's always stuff going on. Tell us a little bit about, I guess, your desire for wikis.
So, I'm a librarian. I actually work in a public library. And so, yeah, it just all happened 19 years ago. Yet another patron said, "Oh, everything's online these days," as they walked off after I'd helped them. And I was like, wait, I spend 40 hours a week in a building full of offline information. If everyone's expecting information to be online, I need to do my part to help more of it get offline and online. So Wikipedia was an obvious way to do that. And I just started volunteering for Wikipedia. And I've been doing that straight now for almost 20 years. So you happen to mention on the show that you wanted a wiki or something. And I'm like, I'm the perfect guy to do this. I mean, my dream would be to like acquire yojo.com and bring that up to speed.
Oh, wow. That would be fantastic.
I mean, that would be a huge job at this point.
Well, that's like when anybody mentions to Carson, when are you going to add modern stuff to 3D Joe's? And people just don't understand how much work is involved when you're cataloging, well, really anything.
Yeah. I mean, even yojo.com stopped trying to catalog the modern accessories like they had for the O-rings.
Right. Yeah. It like, as you go through their listings, once they get past 94, even into the 90s, like, the resources become much more limited as you go through the years. So tell us a little bit about your backstory with G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I got in on the ground floor in 82. So yeah, first Joes were Short Fuse and Grunt and Flash and the Vamp with Clutch and one Cobra Trooper and Breaker. But unlike a lot of folks, I stuck with it. The last figures I bought as a kid were Mesh Suit Lowlight and Desert Scorpion in 1991. So nice. It was the summer before I started high school.
Oh, that's awesome. So you hung with it. That's great.
I did. So yeah, like Hit and Run. I loved Hit and Run. I thought it was a great figure. There's so many figures from the late 80s, 1990s that I think are great. And I didn't even know there was a comic book until I was in 6th grade, so that was 89, 90 school year. So to me, I mean, I watched Sunbow, but to me, the medium that I learned about G.I. Joe through was the file cards. So that's what kept me going. I love the little bios. And that was enough for me. I just enjoyed collecting the figures. And the accessory compliments just got so great in that span.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about doing this show has been over the past 5 years, kind of discovering the years that I missed out on, that I wasn't around for, like all of that, really 88 to 94 stuff that I just was completely oblivious to before we started digging into that. And also discovering, people 10-ish years younger than us who those were their Joes. Like that second Duke, that was the Duke that they had, and that's the one that means something to them. Like that's been a lot of the fun of this whole thing is really getting a different perspective on stuff that I'm not going to say I disregarded, but just really didn't have much awareness of as far as the brand goes. When you started getting back into Joe, because you said around 91 was probably your cutoff, at what point did you sort of dig deeper into the post 91 stuff, and what were you thinking of it then?
Yeah, right away. I was in college. I chanced across summer of 99, I chanced across the Stars and Stripes set and the 98 figures. And I'd been living in a dorm, and I was getting this hankering to get back into scale modeling, which was a hobby I had all through my childhood. And so I started, they sell like scale model kit Army figures, but they were like $50 a pop in 1999. So I was like, oh, I have all these old G.I. Joes, and I started painting them instead. Because that's the other thing about me. It was deemed I was too old for toys. We had a garage sale, and the Joes didn't sell, so they went in a box. And I have most of my childhood collection still. And
that's great
too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's fantastic. How fortunate is that those Joes didn't sell? Like
just a couple. So yeah, I have most of my childhood collection. To me, they were free figures, so I just started painting them and customizing them. And I did it in not like normal custom action figures, but I was painting them with scale model techniques. So I do the shading, and I actually filled in the joints and posed them in a static pose. You can find that on my Instagram, but that's hence the name. So yeah,
everybody check out Scale Model Joe's on Instagram. And also, this is a good opportunity.
Overbearing excessiveness is kind of where I go with things.
Well, this is also a good opportunity.
Encyclopedia in my free time.
To talk about all of the work that you've done on the Audible Interlude Wiki, and to bring up that it is an open source tool that anybody in the Audible Army can contribute to. If you're in the Audible Army Facebook group, the link is pinned in the featured posts. So anybody who wants to contribute information about any of the episodes or anything else is welcome to go in there. I'm going to have a lot of free time coming up really soon, so I'm going to be going through my show notes and adding stuff in. But tell us a little bit, for the uninitiated, how do we go in and edit and add to the Audible Interlude Wiki?
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to put the link in the chat and got all confused. Anyway, it's on a wiki host site called mirahees.org. I'll put this in later.
Okay.
So yeah, it's based on the same engine that runs Wikipedia. So I picked that because I'm just familiar with it. But yeah, it's a big job. So I want help. I kind of put the framework out there, and we could take it in, the community could take it in any direction. Like the framework I've used is just what I started with. If people have a different vision of what's useful, please jump in. and go ahead, take it in new directions, be bold. And I would say, if you're not sure about how to do the formatting, don't worry about that. I can come along and fix that. It's just getting the content there. That's the big lift.
Well, and I think what I'm probably going to do over the next couple of months is start uploading those show notes that I shared with you into the Audible Army Facebook group, because we've got a spot for files in there so that everybody will have access to them. And just anybody who wants to take a look at something and maybe share a memory about a segment we did or whatever, like those kind of notes and things can be put into that wiki.
And I've built what's there off those notes, but the reality is, you'll cut a segment due to time. So the notes don't necessarily reflect what was in each episode.
Right.
And you guys like to surprise each other with your let's freaking go ring pick or so forth. So when it's Dave's pick, you've got all your notes.
Right.
When it's Kristian or Noel's, you didn't know what was coming either. So that's a blank spot. So a lot of this is just listening to the episodes and ground truthing it. So I have to say, I've been listening to all these episodes at 1.8 speed to blast through them. So you guys sound really weird to me tonight. You're talking so slow.
Every once in a while, I'll accidentally set Spotify to 1.8, and it'll take me, it takes just a minute to realize, like, wait, they're talking way too fast and they're a little too tinny, and I have to adjust it back. But I think, Noel, you listen to everything on like 1.5, don't you?
I used to.
Oh, you don't anymore?
Yeah, just because, well, mostly because YouTube does not keep the settings because it used to just be once you put something on 1.5, it would continue all the videos you watch from that point, and it stopped doing that years ago, at least on the app.
Well, thank you so much for the work that you've done for establishing the framework of the Audible Interlude Wiki. Everybody check out Scale Model Joe's on Instagram. Before we put you back in the green room, anything else you want to say?
I'll think of so much later, but right now let's get to the other guests.
Well, I want to add real quickly,
yes.
Thank you for all your hard work on the wiki. And moving forward, I'm going to try to remember that what I think is fun torture for Noel and Dave actually just makes harder work for you. So I'll try not to surprise them as much.
Hopefully some other folks can step into and share this. But honestly,
I frantically Google things.
I really enjoy your show. I discovered it right in the pandemic when I was getting back into the hobby. And I do this because I want to celebrate what I love. And so getting to share that and make it something that's hopefully useful for you guys and this community brings a lot of joy to me too.
Well, that's what we want to do. We want to celebrate the things that we love. That's what we're here for. Thank you so much, man. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate your time.
Really delighted to be able to join.
All right, next up, we mentioned Pop Heist earlier in the show, and we are honored to have Brett White. Welcome to Audible Interlude. Somewhat shockingly for the first time.
What do you mean? I'm here via typing in a comment box a lot.
Well, that's how we do things.
Not audio visually.
So what are we going to talk about?
Well, I wanted to yell at y'all about my G.I. Joe movie that I keep writing in my head. that I actually might write. I don't know. We'll see. I miss writing screenplays. But for Pop Heist, I did a casting call, old Wizard magazine style.
Yes.
And as a Wizard magazine alumni, I'm taking that and running with it. So who owns the copyright? I don't know. It is casting call time. I don't know. Can I share a screen, or could you share a screen if I want to use a visual aid?
Yeah,
or is this too many screens right now?
You should be able to. There should be a screen share button available to you, and then I'll approve it. I believe is how that'll work.
Oh god. Okay. Oh geez. Oh geez. Oh geez.
We're learning on the fly. This is certainly
It's
the
what
most
we
guests we've
do.
ever had. Yeah, that's right.
Google Chrome would like to record this computer screen and audio. Open system settings. Okay, well, this is a fun way to spend my time.
Oh, they're all recording everything we do anyway.
Come on. Yeah. Oh my Lord, I'm getting a lot of weird pop-ups with this. So
I don't know about that.
Talk. Yeah, no, it's like I need to like give permissions to my whatever, and I'm like, I don't want to do all that stuff right now. Let me see if I hit this share. Did that do it? Did that do something?
Nothing yet.
What?
Wait. Yes.
Oh, did you get something, Kristian?
I did. I'm gonna
go ahead.
hit add to stage.
Oh,
hey! All right. Good job,
something.
Kristian.
Gentlemen, this is why I'm a V.
That's right.
Yeah, so I love G.I. Joe, and over the past year I've rewatched all of what I call the canon 100, like the episode 1 of Mass Device all the way through the movie, because that's 100 episodes, 100 half hours. I've watched that twice in a cycle, and then once I got through it, I was like, well, let me rewatch those movies again. Hoo boy! I rewatched Rise of Cobra and Retaliation, and it just hit me that like none of these movies. And I watched Snake Eyes for the second time a couple days ago, and I'm like, even that one, like they don't get. G.I. Joe is funny. Like G.I. Joe needs to be ridiculous. Sumbo G.I. Joe is my G.I. Joe, or if we want to be honest, Deke G.I. Joe is my G.I. Joe because I was born in '84. Hey, you know,
we love
thank
Deke.
God.
We love.
Thank
Deke.
God the Cartoon Express was rerunning Sumbo every single day. On USA. So yeah, I was like, these movies are funny, and you need to have comedians because comedians can be dramatic and also funny, whereas dramatic actors cannot always be funny. So I was like, you start from a baseline of comedians, which is where Billy Eichner as Cobra Commander hit me. And as soon as that hit me, of like imagining Billy Eichner screaming about the Joes.
Well,
I would love to take some Billy on the Street audio and put it under some Sumbo scenes.
I think that casting is because I believe I saw these relatively early on, like before we had really talked or anything.
Yeah, this is like February of this year. This is one of the first things I did at Popeyes.
and that casting was immediately I was like, I like this guy. I don't know who Brett White is, but he is amazing because I could just hear Billy Eichner as Cobra Commander in my head. It's phenomenal. And it
was the casting I never thought I never knew that I needed.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, like he's been in two live action movies, and the fact that Cobra Commander is not really an important presence in either of those movies is like, he's the linchpin. Like Cobra Commander is the most important character, so you need Billy Eichner there stealing all the attention. I think the next one I hit on was Lady J is my favorite Joe. Lady J and Shipwreck are my like favorites, and I was like, who can play Lady J? Well, Kristen Stewart, but I was like, she has to have chemistry with Flint. And I was like, well, Kristen Stewart is very famously a lesbian. So I'm like, what man can she have chemistry with? And then I was like, man, let's do it. Robert Pattinson. Let's make this also a Twilight reunion. Because also Robert Pattinson as Flint, that seems pretty cool to me.
Well, if totally. He can be Batman, he can be Flint.
Oh, I'm not even thinking of that. I'm thinking of him in The Lighthouse.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's that grizzled. Oh,
you're fond of me, lobster, ain't you?
Yeah. Like
that movie's incredible, by the way. If anybody has not watched The Lighthouse, stay up until like 2:00 in the morning one night, put it on, and have yourself a time.
I will. The other one that really hit me because my husband was rewatching What We Do in the Shadows at the time, so that explains why there are 3 What We Do in the Shadows cast members in the ranks of Cobra, but there should be. Honestly, every single one of those people should be in there because what I think this movie needs to be, David Leitch is the director that I have in mind, specifically like Bullet Train, Atomic Blonde. Like it needs to be big, colorful action. Yes. And the tone needs to be very Peacemaker, very Guardians of the Galaxy, very James Gunn, but even stupider.
Well, and to be fair to Rise of Cobra, I mean, that was Stephen Sommers at the time.
Mm-hmm.
like him directing that movie made sense.
Yeah, he did The Mummy.
Right.
So like he should know but like we don't need hypersuits or whatever those things were. And also don't kill all of Cobra in your first movie. That drives me crazy. But I'm like, when you switch over, the movie switches over to Cobra, it needs to be chaos. And so going up against Billy Eichner, I'm like, Idris Elba is Destro. That seems to make sense. Also, Billy Eichner and Idris Elba are the same height. So like imagining like those two 6'3" men screaming at each other. Great. And then you're What We Do in the Shadows trifecta of Natasha Dimitriou as Baroness. Because Nadja on What We Do in the Shadows is just, she's Baroness. I couldn't separate them in my mind. Because when you rewatch the Sumbo cartoon, Baroness, her operating mode is just screaming. Is basically just like panicking and screaming at everyone. I love that energy so much.
And when you hear Natasha, like her normal speaking voice, that accent that she does in What We Do in the Shadows proves like she can she can create her own version of the Baroness accent, and she can absolutely convince you that that's her real voice.
Yeah. And then I also love Keva Novak as Dr. Mindbender because that just makes sense. My favorite though has to be Matt Berry as Zartan, which might be where I lose people. I don't know.
No, that's inspired.
But when you remember what Zartan sounded like on Sumbo, Zartan is where I'm like, if you come to G.I. Joe for the military realism, you can't like Zartan. Like, period. He's a mutant. He is a shapeshifter. He sounds like he is a rock and roll singer thanking Cleveland at the end of the concert at all times. Because he's always like being blasted through the reverb. Like, what is up with his voice? And so Matt Berry is like the only dude I think that can pull that off.
Yeah, I think of him in Toast of London and the Jackie Daytona episode where it's merely just him adding a toothpick.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden nobody knows who he is.
Yeah, and that's
like,
Zartan.
He oozes charisma and that voice. So I think that was spot on.
Speaking oozing charisma, Shipwreck. You need a very handsome, rascally man who is also a hot mess, but also rakish and also just a disaster and also very charismatic. And that's Jake Johnson, who I love in New Girl, but I think like Minx is really what you should watch to get that. Like, this man is salty. Like, he smells salty, tastes salty, looks salty. He's just like of salt. He is a mess.
Well, this is one where I was mad at myself because I don't understand how I didn't think of that. Because once you see Jake Johnson as Shipwreck, you go back to New Girl, you go back to Jurassic World or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, he's that guy. That's him.
There is a movie.
It's also crazy he's never been in the movie. It's nuts.
He is in a movie, I think it's on Netflix, where he accidentally pays a company. He puts out a 24-hour hit on himself. So the movie is him trying to survive his hitman for 24 hours. And it is absolutely what you are describing. So
yeah, perfection. And then I think you get a lot of the fun buddy vibes because I'm also casting Damon Wayans Jr. and Adam Pally, who are of that same Happy Endings New Girl era as Alpine and Bazooka, because Alpine and Bazooka need a built-in chemistry. And Damon Wayans, Alpine is a stand-up comedian. I don't know if like 80s Eddie Murphy inspired him directly, but like that's kind of the vibe he gives. He's always making jokes. And then Bazooka is just a lovable dum-dum. And so I think those two together, they have built-in chemistry, and it just makes sense to me.
Yeah, that works. And also, I like, let's keep the Wayans in the franchise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my my two little inside casting things. It's like you have Damon Wayans Jr., Ripcord's cousin? No, uncle. No, nephew. I need a family tree. But then you also have Don Johnson as Hawk.
Yes.
I think is really cool.
Yes.
Because he is of the age to be Hawk now, and he's Lieutenant Falcon. and also birds, you know.
Yeah.
Keke Palmer as Roadblock is the one that I'm also like, I just want to kind of make people mad, but also look at Keke Palmer in anything and tell me that she's not Roadblock.
No,
The
I'm down.
lyricality of the way that she talks just in interviews, it's rhyming without rhyming. It is, and also I want to see her like Vasquez alien style holding a giant machine gun.
Yes.
Because you know she'd get jacked for this. I don't think I have time to go through every single one.
No, but I'll call out right now.
Please.
Kate McKinnon and Rhea Ripley, let's go.
Yeah.
Just I don't even care who they are, but let's go.
Doing the Dreadnoks was a lot of fun because I was like, I need to find some British and Australian people. So as a drag queen and a Drag Race fan, I'm like, Bimini Bomb Boulash from Drag Race UK is just like Buzzer, a very smart person who plays very stupid, very convincingly. Like, I actually thought she was stupid until halfway through the season when you realize, oh no, she's actually really smart. And then
was it one of those deals where you realize, like, oh, this is a character?
Yeah.
and from watching, and Kristian, you can probably kind of pick up on this as well. From watching Taskmaster, you realize a few episodes in, like, oh wait, these are characters. It's very different from American humor.
Yes. And my also got to bring Cobra Law in. So if anyone watched Drag Race season 17, the winner, Sasha Colby, is Pythona, period. Like, down to just looking at her, and her finale song was snake themed. So it's just right there. The other one, and this hit me one day like a ton of bricks, and I guess I can close on this one because it's my and also Aubrey Plaza, Serpentor.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
It hit me that I was like, I cast John Cena as John Cena because I think that is a fun way of bringing the spirit of having like the fridge and Sergeant Slaughter in Joe.
Yes.
And like he would absolutely just be playing himself. But I was like, wait a second. What if like the second act reveal is that John Cena, who is John Cena in this universe, is actually Nemesis Enforcer? And he's fighting alongside the Joes, and all of a sudden they turn around and John Cena rips open and it's a giant bat wing. And in this universe, the actor John Cena and wrestler John Cena has actually always been Nemesis Enforcer.
Love it.
Like,
fantastic.
That is the vibe that this movie should go for. Please go to popeyes.com or the Instagram. You could see all the casting and all my other really crazy G.I. Joe content that I keep churning out.
Look, I just need to hear like deadpan April Ludgate saying like, "This I command."
Yeah.
That's the thing is I love that won't be the screeching Serpentor that we've had, because she can scare you just with a look and that monotone voice.
Yeah. Well, and after playing Death and Agatha all along, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Pete Davidson is Metalhead. I also was like, got to give some Deke love, So I don't. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I want to write this script at some point, and I'll figure that out.
I would love to read this, and everybody check out Pop Heist Media on Instagram to take a closer look at all of these casting decisions. They're fantastic. This is a great post. Brett, thank you so much for coming on, sharing your time with us. This was absolutely awesome, and we will look forward to talking again very soon.
Yes, happy 200. Here's to 200 more in 2026. I don't know. Y'all record a lot of episodes.
We do. Well, and to be honest, we're actually closer to 300 with all of our reviews and bonus episodes. But whatever, it's fine.
Who's counting?
Thank you so much. Yeah. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right, everybody check out Pop Heist. Next up, some of the people that I've known longest in my entire life. Noel, you and I have both known these guys for, well, you've known them longer than I have. I've known them for almost 30 years now. From Clown is Down, early guests on the show also, Pete and Keith.
The man behind the thing that's behind
right.
me right here.
That's right.
And the clown.
Keith made the Cobra Throne.
Excellent.
I like the branding in the background you guys have going on there.
Yeah.
Very nice.
We're in the clown headquarters.
Yes.
Oh, the clown cave,
The clown,
the clown dome. I don't know.
the clown cave. Family show.
So, what do you guys want to talk about?
G.I. Joe, man.
Oh, okay, cool. That's what we do. That's our thing.
Yeah. How about
Moving on to switch gears.
characters?
Oh yes, unique characters.
Okay.
So, what recently we've been going back, or I've been going back, watched some old episodes, and I've come across one that he's become my favorite character, and I made something to show y'all. So, Mr. Beamish, if you remember him, he is from the Excalibur episode.
Yes.
And I have this saying now where always believe Beamish.
Wait, let me make you guys bigger. Okay.
This guy is great. Go back, watch the Excalibur episode. He's only in it for less than maybe
15
seconds. He's got like 2 scenes, but
He's been on screen on our podcast longer than he ever was on the cartoon.
he has made a massive imprint on me. Awesome character.
We like the weird stuff.
Yeah. Mr. Beamish.
So what in going through the episodes, well, specifically the Excalibur episode, because that is a significant episode. Super 7 actually included an Excalibur sword with their Storm Shadow figure, the ultimate figure. But
Well, he's the king of England now.
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about kind of the weirdness of Joe, because you guys both grew up with it just like we did. And when you were on the episode before, which I highly recommend everybody check out, the Clown is Down episode, which is probably available to reference in the wiki if you click on that link that I put in the chat. But what do you think of the weirdness of the Joe cartoon? Like when you were playing with the toys when you were a kid, did you wish you had like all the weird, like an amoeba or all the weird characters and stuff to go along with the Joes? Did you feel like you were missing something from your toy collections by not having the fantastical stuff that was in the show?
Well, I kind of, when I played with the G.I. Joe toys, I went from Star Wars into G.I. Joe. So there was a lot of crossover. I mean, I had, I'd have stormtroopers and tanks and Cobra soldiers and X-Wing fighters. And I was okay with that. That was always fine with me. And then as the show got weirder and weirder and weirder, which it did, and that was great. I realized now, I didn't like it then, but I look back on it now and I really enjoy it now. And the just bizarreness of it all.
Yeah, I noticed it more now than I did then.
Well, it didn't seem strange when we were kids because we didn't have points of reference.
Yeah.
All we knew.
Storm Shadow getting Excalibur, and like he said, he's the king of England. I mean, if we want to go by the stories, all that, Storm Shadow's the king of England at that point. And back in the 80s, we would have never put 2 and 2 together. But now it's very just weird, bizarre, and great.
Well, and I think that was the thing is when we're kids, we just don't have, that is our framework. What we're taking in as far as the media goes, like that's the rules. So to me, there was no sense of, wow, it's really weird that these army guys are fighting space aliens or Egyptian gods or whatever the case may be. Like, oh, I guess that's what army guys do.
Yeah, they dig up corpses and reanimate dead leaders.
Right, why not?
Give them floating chairs.
So looking back, 40 years ago to 1985, when let's say you guys run into somebody in a bar that doesn't know G.I. Joe or maybe only has a surface knowledge of it, how are you gonna bundle that to them? How are you gonna give somebody an elevator pitch of what G.I. Joe is? What does it mean to you?
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out Beamish.
That's really going to tell
because I'm going to attach a little chain to this. Wearing him around.
I think we're going to do that.
Like Flavor Flav.
Demon Beamish.
You don't know Joe? Let me tell you.
G.I. Joe starts, the G.I. Joe that we know starts in Reagan's America, good versus evil, the army versus the bad guys. And then just like Reagan's America gets weird at the end. And it's the green army guys versus the blue army guys. And then you get bored. So you pull in your other toys, which are giant dinosaurs and bugs and everything else. And then start a massive, amazingly successful toy line.
You all just made Dave's head explode.
No, that to me is what the G.I. Joe is and should be.
Yeah.
So anything else about Joe before you guys drop back to the green room?
Yo, Joe.
Oh, Yo, Joe.
So when can we hear more Clown is Down? You're together right now. Surely you're going to multitask and record an episode.
I've had something cooking in my head for a week that
Clown is Down the movie?
Yeah. If you guys could get on casting that too. I've got something cooking in my head that may involve you there. We might.
Okay.
So,
well, we are
got
down.
An idea too. Maybe season 2 is ready to happen.
Well, actually,
or season 5, whatever.
Well, it was like
we lost count.
Yeah, it was,
I like the sound.
They're
of that.
Amazon all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much for dropping in.
Episodes.
Thank you so much for dropping in. We always like talking to you guys. We appreciate it. And everybody check out Clown is Down. There are plenty of episodes available right now. And almost certainly more will be coming, sometime.
Definitely.
All right. Later, guys.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Next up, let's see here. Where is he? Uh-oh. I think we're missing somebody. Hang on, let me check my DMs to see if maybe we had a technical issue somewhere.
Well, you're doing that.
Well, I didn't see him in our initial Brady Bunch that we did before the show, so
I'm going to throw up a comment here from our good friend Bobby Nash, who says, "I grew up with a bionic astronaut fighting Bigfoot. G.I. Joe's stories weren't too far afield." Truth.
Okay, so our next, which we're flying by the seat of our pants here. What are we going to do? We are awaiting one guest who may have run into some technical difficulties or who knows what else. So we're going to jump ahead. I hope. Look, I would if Audible Interlude has a mascot, if Audible Interlude has a T-Bob, then I do believe Wreck Ship 85. Oh, wait. Sorry, Nowhere Man Child. Things moved around. I think somebody left the chat and it shifted things. There we go. Wreck Ship 85. By far one of our most helpful, somebody that provides us the most input. You are the unofficial junior member of Audible Interlude, no doubt. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
And you've got something very special planned for this evening that I don't know if Kristian even knows about.
No, I don't know what anyone is talking about tonight.
Well, that's not unusual.
What's the difference?
Wreck Ship. What have you got for us?
Yeah, so I thought it'd be fun to do kind of like a retrospective of sorts and just do like a personal top 10 favorite Cobra intern intros.
I love it.
That you've done over the past 5 years or so.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So
which no small amount of research was involved in this.
Yeah, it took. Yeah, the startup for all this was a lot, and I sent the master list over to Skidmore Joe's with a wiki at some point here, and I try to keep it up to date every couple of weeks.
So what we've got here, David Letterman style, is the top 10 Cobra intern intros from the last 5 years of Audible Interlude. Wreck Ship, I'm gonna make you big on the screen. Take it away.
So I think, unfortunately, because it's on my phone, it's gonna make me disappear. I'm going to go to my screen, but I can still talk.
We'll deal
So
with
here
it.
we go.
We'll deal with it. Oh, now I'm huge.
Anyways, okay. So, number one, no particular order. Number one, on September 23rd of 2022, the Cobra intern that knows you're never too evil for good manners.
What's going to be funny is Kristian's not going to remember any of these.
No.
Well, and they all have context with something that we talk about in the episode typically. So, like,
Yeah.
you know, out of context, they're not going to make any sense.
But I love that. Good for me.
All right, continue on.
Number two, on December 2nd of 2022, the Cobra intern that is a stain on your action figure collection.
Or your life, either or.
All right, number three, on January 27th of 2023, the Cobra intern that is just too lazy to draw hands.
We must have been reviewing that Mind Mangler episode that day.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that sounds
yes.
right.
It was a Deke day.
All right, number was it 4? Yes. 4, May 26th, 2023. The Cobra intern who blew the budget in Hot Topic. All right. Number 5, September 15th, 2023. The Cobra intern that confused Tide Pods with Flight Pods.
I'm sure that was timely in
Sure.
2023. Yeah.
Number, what is this? 6? November 17th, 2023. The Cobra intern who really disappointed his parents by not going to clown college.
Oh, Florida.
Wah, wah.
All right. Number 7, March 8th, 2024. The Cobra intern who can't figure out if he's a repaint or not.
Are you the original? I don't know.
Still don't know.
Number 8, this is my favorite because I helped him. I submitted this one to him, obviously. You'll see here in a minute. May 31st of 2024. Mothership in the sky. I'm really scared of heights. Write that down. Wash my cape. I'm a Cobra intern.
Yes.
All right. Number 9. And this is from the Energon Universe G.I. Joe number 4 review of this year here. Cobra intern that hooked up your yo mama to the brainwave scanner and found nothing. And lastly, this was a fairly recent one here. The Energon Universe G.I. Joe number 9 review. The Cobra intern that refuses to believe that the bird is the word.
Yes. Still to this day.
Papa,
That's a sad commentary on Raptor. That was awesome, Rec Ship. Thank you for taking us on that trip down memory lane. Obviously, we should all pay tribute to our Cobra intern. And everyone, check out Rec Ship 85 on Instagram and get yourself. Are the Rec Ship shirts still available?
Yeah, I got a link to them on my Instagram. Should be there.
Okay, cool. Dude, seriously, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for being cool, for having fun with us. We really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. And I still say we need to work on getting some of these stickers.
Yeah.
Keep that fun.
Oh.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Later, man.
Yeah.
And that brings us next to really a legend in the business, somebody who is an honor to have on this show. Please welcome Channing Sherman. And look, I'm with you. I am on a flag hunt myself. Oh, old school. That's beautiful.
Yes. Yeah, man. Santa Claus, I think that's the year when I really found out because I wanted a G.I. Joe aircraft carrier. And when I tell you I was good that year, I was a freaking angel. Okay? I was walking old ladies across the street. I was picking up trash. I was playing with orphan puppies. I was reading to blind orphan children. The whole nine. Nothing.
Oh,
Nothing. So I'm not saying I'm still bitter, but I'm saying every time I see a mall Santa, someone has to hold me back.
see, well, we have a shared, and while we don't discuss the nature of Santa Claus here, I had a similar experience to that year. Only the big guy did come through for me. Unfortunately,
I came down, so my biggest disappointment ever was coming down on Christmas Day in 1985. It was still dark in the room. I was the first one down there, and my mother had gotten a new armchair, but it was just sitting up, and it was this giant silhouette, and I just thought it was a flag box.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah. And I turned on the light, and I just...
Okay.
Thoughts and prayers, my friend. Thoughts and prayers.
Similar story, but on a much different scale. Not my story, but it's one that's been told many times, and I think it's hilarious. Matt Cardona, wrestler, formerly known as Zack Ryder. Matt Cardona often shares the story of the year that he thought he was getting the Hasbro WWF X-Pac. Like, that was his big, or not X-Pac, 1, 2, 3 Kid. Sorry, 1, 2, 3 Kid. That was his big Christmas wish, is I need that 1, 2, 3 Kid figure. Oh my gosh, I have to have it. And he's going through the presents. He gets to the last one, and he's like, this has got to be it. This has got to be my 1, 2, 3 Kid. And he opens it up, and it's one of the WCW San Francisco Toy Makers Jimmy Hart figures. So imagine thinking you're getting 1, 2, 3 Kid, who at the time is like the hottest thing in WWF, and it's Jimmy Hart, baby.
With realistic megaphone action.
Yeah, right. I'm a big fan of that story, but Noel, yours is much more heartbreaking than that Cardona's.
That's the start of a villain arc, Noel. I gotta be honest, man.
So, Channing, what do you want to talk about today?
So I'm gonna share my screen, or at least try to, and I'm a big fan of all things G.I. Joe, and I just thought it would be good to kind of look at G.I. Joe in popular culture. Just the idea being like, what else? What else is going on? Who's mentioning G.I. Joe? And I mean, let's see, should be sharing now.
Hang on. There we go.
There we go. Yeah, so you can't mention G.I. Joe in pop culture without mentioning Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
Robot Chicken has done more G.I. Joe skits than I could honestly list here. I could take this all night. G.I. Joe Exotic is exactly what you think it is. You know, Joe Exotic joins, I can't remember if he's joined Cobra or G.I. Joe, but he becomes their animal handler. And it goes about how you would think Joe Exotic in G.I. Joe would go. But again, just they appreciate the line and the history behind it. This is one. Whoops, I went back. Sorry. This is what I imagine goes on at G.I. Joe headquarters. These guys are all playing a prank on Snowjob. Like, they're all going out on missions in the desert or underwater, and we don't need you. You know, Snowjob is left guarding the base. Finally, while Snowjob's the only one there, he gets a call from the United Nations saying the Cobra's attacking the Himalayas or somewhere. Like, oh, it looks like a go job for Snowjob. And basically, he flies to the Himalayas, skis up there all by himself, only to find out it's a prank by G.I. Joe. They all hit him with snowball. And sadly, I could see them doing that and wasting military dollars for a prank.
100%.
I could totally see that, involved. And come on, it's fumbles. Anybody here who doesn't know the fumble skit, you just That is Chef Kiss, GI Joe parody, GI Joe mention, and it just made you realize what Cobra could have done if they just had one person who could shoot, just one person who could shoot straight.
Well, and I mean, Robot Chicken Crew, 2-time Joe Fest guests now. They
Yes.
they just like us. They grew up with it. They love it. They respect the history, but also they have the razor sharp sense of humor that they apply to it.
Yes, I really want Robot Chicken to do just like they had an all Star Wars episode. I want them to do an all GI Joe episode.
Yeah.
I just think that would be great. This one, I'm gonna spoil the ending for this one, but GI Joe realizes that there's this mystery third party that's injuring their troops. So they're coming back. They've got body parts melted. They're discolored. They're disfigured. They think it's Cobra. They go to Cobra. Cobra's having the same problem. They actually cut the Cobra commander, and he's been cut in half. They break the fourth wall and go out into the real world, and they find this child that is literally just maiming his G.I. Joe toys on a bicycle tire and with a magnifying glass.
Like Sid.
Yeah, pretty much. They shoot the child with a Mauler tank. And at the end, Roadblock just goes, "Yo, Joe, did we just kill a kid?" I mean, yo, Joe, but killing a kid seems wrong. So yeah. Yes, great stuff. And then I'm gonna speed through a few of these others. Futurama, they did this Saturday TV Funhouse episode, which was just spoofing cartoon blocks, and you had G.I. Zap. And what I loved about this one was they had even the weird, wacky G.I. Joe code name. So you had Fry as Freezer Burns, since he was frozen in ice. Leela was Nutcracker. Waterboard, Box Cutter, and my personal favorite, Orphan Crippler.
I haven't seen this one. I'm gonna have to track this down.
Yes, I think it's called Saturday Afternoon Funhouse or Saturday TV Funhouse. They parodied G.I. Joe, Strawberry Shortcake, and I forget what. Oh, and the Smurfs. And it was just three little segments. Yes. I have a link. I will drop it in chat for you afterwards. All right. And then, of course, they copied G.I. Zap.
Yes.
If you remember the Venture Brothers, OSI is basically G.I. Joe. And I love that instead of Shipwreck, you have Shore Leave.
But honestly, greatest cartoon of all time, in my opinion.
Yes, I'm mad at them for just outright cutting it. And I'm still mad that they never got a chance to finish. But yes, they actually have a little OSI video that looks like the intro of G.I. Joe. It's quite funny. Super Jail. It's a deep cut Adult Swim cartoon. It's a jail that holds some of the worst prisoners in the world. A guy who is their analog for Cobra Commander ends up at the jail and takes it over. And they send their version of G.I. Joe. And all I will say is one of their characters, his name is Blackface. That's all I got to tell you. That's one of the character code names.
Yeah, I remember Super Jail, but I can't remember what era was that? Was that like pre-2005?
Around like 2006, 2007, right? I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. I was aware of it, but for whatever reason, I wasn't watching it.
What was the other show the creator of Super Jail did? It was around the same time.
That I don't remember, but I remember just thinking, was it Megalop? Not the thing with the rock band.
It wasn't Metalocalypse.
No, it wasn't Metalocalypse.
Okay,
no, it was another thing that just had like that really just bizarre and like grotesque animation style. But yeah, I hadn't thought about Super Jail in 15 years.
Yeah, definitely the Super Jail episode. And then I think last is the one that we all probably know best. The Community episode.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they got Brett Ratner, the original voice of Flint, to come back and do some lines for this episode. Oddly enough, Family Guy did too. I didn't have time to include them. But yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with Community spoofing G.I. Joe. So yeah, it's popped up. It's good to see that people like us, when they got old enough to create their own content, they'd work in these little references and tributes.
Well, this was, I didn't watch Community when it was on, but Noel had been telling me about this episode for for years. And I finally, at some point, watched it, and that's what got me watching Community. And I'm actually in the middle of a rewatch right now. A great show, but this episode in particular, like and I think our as GI Joe fans, a lot of times we have a resistance to things of like, oh, is this going to be mocking it? Is this going to be not appreciating it in the way that we appreciate it? But all of the things that you've brought up, they're hilarious and they're poking fun, but they also have a respect for GI Joe, a knowledge of it and appreciation of it built in. So like everyone that you mentioned, it's all fun, good stuff.
Another good one, another kind of a deep cut from Adult Swim, created by my friend Casper Kelly. There's a little thing by the name of Too Many Cooks, where they do a little GI Joe bit during the duration of it as well.
One of the most insane things, ever to air on television. Awesome. Well,
definitely we'll have to look that one up. That one's going on my list now.
Before you go, Channing, just tell us what your favorite year of Joe is from your childhood, and if you remember what your first figure was.
I gotta say it was probably around 86. That's when I first got into the line. And what's funny, in 86, I was probably only around 8 or 9. But my mom would take me grocery shopping with her. And as a way to make me behave, I could go buy a comic book from the grocery store, which that should age me right there. And there was this thing called G.I. Joe Order of Battle. And I still have that one. It's obviously, I did not know how to protect comic books at that time. But that really got me hooked and brought me in. My favorite G.I. Joe is Flint, so I would have to say, oh boy. I can't say he's my favorite figure. My favorite figure is Lowlight, because Lowlight's figure was just chef kiss, perfect. But my favorite character in G.I. Joe was always Flint. Also, I will never be able to find a Lowlight because I will never be able to afford an original Lowlight in the package. That's just never going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's Ron Rudat was at Joe Lanta this weekend, and like one of my kind of pipe dream bucket list goal type things is to get a 1982 figure mint on card and have him sign it. But that's a big dollar proposition right there.
Yeah. That's a HasLab.
Right. Well, Channing, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was great talking to you, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Happy 200, guys.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, somebody who's been on Needless Things many, many times. Everybody, welcome to the show, the award-winning Bobby Dash.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me back. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I feel really bad because I'm listening to everybody's stories and I realize how much older I am than everybody. So thank you guys for making me feel really old tonight.
That's what we're here for.
Well, and that's what our listeners do, as I am constantly reminded. So.
Well, yeah, that's true because, we talked about earlier how, meeting the people like 10-ish years younger than us who were really into the 90s Joes, like that's their Joes. And I'm like, that does make me feel kind of old.
Yes. My first memory of G.I. Joe was seeing the animated commercial for G.I. Joe comic book issue #1.
Yeah.
That's my first memory of it. And then I remember going to Kmart and walking down, you turn the corner onto the toy aisle, and it's nothing but like a line of just Joe figures when they first came out. So those are my earliest memories of the characters. Yeah.
Well, that's a good segue because I believe you're going to be talking a little bit about the comics.
Yes. I saw the commercials, and I loved the animated commercials that led into the comics, which I always thought was a really cool idea. I didn't, at the time G.I. Joe, the comic premiered, I was 10. So getting comics required mom. Mom was not a comic fan. So comics didn't happen often. So until recently, I have never read G.I. Joe in order. There was always one here, one there.
Yeah.
Until I got the compendium and actually read the first 50 issues straight through.
Oh
for the
my
first
gosh!
time.
Look at that. Wait, hold that back up again.
It's enormous.
Wow.
I cannot imagine reading comics like that.
It is. It wasn't as difficult as like reading some of the big hardcover omnibuses that are a little more oversized. This one's not as bad because it does actually fold out fairly easily. But yeah, it's a monster to kind of juggle while you're reading, especially when you get either at the very beginning or the very end, because in one side's very heavy.
It doesn't want to just sit open.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I just this year read issues 1 through 50 straight through for the first time, and I have a new appreciation for the comic series because I was more of a fan of the cartoon than the comic. Like I said, I went in and out of the comic, but my first introduction to the comic was we used to get the 3-packs because they would always, like, distributors would buy all the extra comics because back then they didn't print to order, they printed just a ton. And I picked up a 3-pack that had issues 3, 4, and 5 in it, and it was the cover to issue number 3 that really sold it to me. And I'd seen
and you didn't always get because for anybody that doesn't know, those 3-packs would be shrink wrapped in a poly bag.
Yeah, you knew what 2 of them were.
You'd get them from whether it was Kroger or Target or like they'd just be on like an end cap.
Yeah,
and you didn't necessarily get sequential issues.
Yeah.
And you didn't even necessarily get you might get X-Men, G.I. Joe, and Spider-Man.
Right. Well, I remember this one because at the top of it, like they were printed bags, and at the top of this one, it did say G.I. Joe, so I knew it would be all G.I. Joe books. The fact that it was 3 but it really didn't matter because they were standalone stories then. But it was this cover that grabbed me. If you guys can see,
yes,
that cover that did it for me. And I knew this is something I had to read.
I had that. There was a 3-pack that I had that had that one. It had 21. That's how I got the silent issue initially, and I think it was issue 10. So that was definitely one that was distributed as 3-packs that I had.
Yeah, and so reading all 50 straight through was an eye opener because like I said, I was in and out throughout. So the differences between the Joes I knew from the cartoons, because almost all of them are Larry introduces them so much differently than the cartoon did. And a lot of characters came in at different times. Like in the cartoon, there's a certain group there in the beginning. That's not the beginning of the comic, and it's very much they're not quite as unique characters. They're all in like camo and fatigues in the original storylines. So it was really interesting to read these 50 all the way through. And I'm going to pick up the second compendium, which I think just went on sale last week.
Yeah, I know they're staggering the softcover versions out a little bit.
Yeah, so I plan to get those as well and continue reading through. I was always a big fan of the covers. The covers were always beautiful, especially the Mike Zeck era of doing those covers, or the Michael Golden era of covers.
Yeah.
Those would grab my attention a lot and make me go, "Ooh, I've got to read that issue because that cover is gorgeous."
Yeah, Michael Golden is, I think, my cover guy. I've actually got a number of prints because he's been at Dragon Con a couple of times. He was at Heroes Con a lot. And actually, I say Dragon Con, he might have just been at Heroes Con now that I'm thinking about it. But anyway,
I think it's possible. I see him around from time to time.
I've got a number of prints from him, and his artwork is, if I had a list of 5 sort of defining G.I. Joe artists that are just like their art is what's in my head, he would be one of them for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I would say too, the Herb Trimpe, Bob McLeod combo in those early issues doing the covers.
Yeah.
Really, I think, they really worked well. The Zeck covers are gorgeous. I'm a big John Byrne fan, and he did a handful of covers. There's a great one that I love. I forget the issue number, but it's Clutch. It says Clutch goes home the hard way, and he's falling out of an airplane toward the ground. And I just love that cover. So stuff like that. But reading these was very fun. There were a lot of things I had forgotten, like I had forgotten, like Dr. Venom and Queen.
Yeah.
So getting into those characters who really did make it into the cartoons. I think Quinn appeared once, but yeah,
no, we didn't see. We did
was
not
Quinn
see
never-
Quinn in the
I know the
cartoon. No,
No, it was the October.
no, he's a
Guard.
big. Yeah, October Guard
He
did
was
make
the
the
Eskimo.
crossover.
He was the big Eskimo soldier.
Inuit.
Yes. And so, but yeah, like, and Dr. Venom never really made it into the cartoon. So it was nice seeing those kind of characters. And
I think as a kid, reconciling that there were two different continuities was so weird, because I don't know that I remember anything else. I mean, I guess Transformers was kind of the same way in the comics and the cartoon, but Joe was my big thing, and it was just having to deal with like these things do not match up was an interesting mental exercise.
Yeah, and it's interesting, because there's different, because reading those early issues, I was surprised Cobra doesn't seem as big a threat through a lot of it. I mean, they're there and there's stuff going on, but the Joes are dealing with all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And Cobra has plans, but Cobra's not trying to, like in the cartoon, every week it's some big plot that they've had.
Right.
They're not doing that in every issue of the comic. And
they started that infighting in those early issues. And I feel like in that first year, I mean, the whole Major Blood Baroness was a bigger, plot point than necessarily Cobra trying to take over the world.
Yeah, it's like who's gonna take over Cobra?
Well, yeah, the thing too is that Larry had to come up with these characters for Cobra, because you had like these 13 G.I. Joe characters, and then you had like one face character for Cobra. And so like you wanted to give people character, he had to come up with like a Scarface, and then he wrote in the Baroness, who later became a figure.
And made them more, especially like in the case of Major Blood. Major Blood is much more menacing of a villain in the comics than in the cartoon. Yeah, Major Blood's pretty badass in the comics. So.
Well, before you go, any final thoughts about those first 50 issues? Any characters or storylines that specifically stand out in your head?
Oh God, like I said, those first 10 especially. Obviously, we all know Silent Interlude is a masterpiece in storytelling. The first 10, especially if you just like war comics, the first 10 are excellent for that. Just some of the weird stuff starts settling in after that. Yeah. But then I also rather enjoyed near the end of the 50, where Cobra has their own island and the political machinations that they're going through. That's to be legitimate.
That's my favorite arc is how they establish Cobra Island.
Yeah, right. That's
what I started reading regularly was that period. So that's definitely my favorite arc.
Yeah, it's a nice, and it becomes a bit of a political thriller, and there's a great, like a long running plot where Zartan and Ripcord change places.
Yeah.
And which is just, and you're like, wait, how does nobody realize what's going on? But it's really, Larry Hama really tells a good long form story with these characters. I love it. It's great. I highly recommend it.
Well, Bobby, where can we find you online, and what are you up to?
BobbyNash.com is the website. I'm on all the social medias. There's always writing and new stuff. In October, the newest book in my Dante's Western horror series comes out, called Dante's Rebirth. The publisher's putting it out on October 31st. So just in time for Halloween.
Excellent. Well, man, thank you so much for coming on and
My
sharing
pleasure.
your love of G.I. Joe.
Hey, here's to another 200, 300, whatever. I know you guys did that podcast math. So,
yeah, right.
So, yeah, here's to 5 more years. Let's put it that way. Yes.
Yes, there you go. Thanks a lot, man.
My pleasure.
And our final regular guest.
Through 1985 in rank and file card by 5 years from now, probably,
yeah, right?
Yeah.
All right, we've got one more regular guest dropping in to join us, and that is Nowhere Manchild. Welcome to the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Audible Interlude podcast brings to you Nowhere Man Child.
Oh, beautiful. Well, okay, what do you want to talk about? What do we got?
First time on the show. Good to see you.
Yeah, absolutely.
See anybody who is looking to chat Joe, you can follow me at my Instagram, which is right there on the screen. It's at Nowhere Man Child on Instagram. I also have a YouTube page with just a couple things on there. I actually reviewed the little soft cover of the Transformers compendium, the first one that came out, and someone from the Transformers realm shared it, and boom, it like got 800 hits. So like, if you find the algorithm and find that one person that puts it on that one place, that's what we want to do for these guys. That's what we want to do for your favorite Joe creators, which includes Audible Interlude podcast. And I'm here with you guys almost every week since I discovered you. I think you guys are fantastic. You're a lot of fun. Thanks for inviting me for the 200th.
Thank you.
Man. Yeah,
I
said, let's talk about October Guard.
Okay, let's
October
do
Guard
it.
Is, do you have any questions or anything before I jump into this, whatever?
No, that you bring up a really good point, though, is for any creator, whether it's YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever it is, any creator that you like, sharing is the best thing that you can do. Share those videos, share those reels, whatever the case may be. That's the way to spread the word. That's the way to help those creators grow.
Sharing is caring. Like, get in.
That's right.
Help them get in the algorithm. Put a comment on their page. Give them a like. They say a like. It's not just for fun. It's actually to show the integration of you as a viewer watching their show and enjoying it and telling more people to do the same. And I did a online comedy show, and this was before the pandemic of 2020. So like we ended in 2020 because of the pandemic. But the years before that, I said, make a post that's just text and use a character limit so it's bolder and bigger. Do a post that's just a photograph. Do a post that's a video link. They all hit a different audience in a different stream. And
yeah,
that was just Facebook back then.
Yeah, right.
So October Guard, who anybody who collects classified will never see probably, but you know what? You never know. In the sense that if we feel like they're just a Russian team, then that's child you thinking about it. That is uninformed fan thinking that way because they're from all over what was the Soviet socialist republics of the USSR. I think that they were uniquely done early in Joe. Like Bobby was just telling how, he was reading Joe from 1 to 50 straight through. And you get the October Guard in issue 6.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, issue 6 where Larry is saying, okay, we've got Cobra and we've got Vance Wingfield and we got Terrorizing Robot. And then all of a sudden by issue 6, you have the October Guard. And they're in a 2-part, which goes into, issue 7. And I'll just use the visual aid here. I got a bunch of visual aids ready to go. This is the only comic.
Oh, nice.
But here's the Tales of G.I. Joe. So it's a reprint, though, from issue 7 where you got Stalker and Colonel Breakov. This image, actually, of these two was paralleled in issue 147 with Star Brigade, because you will get Star Brigade Duke and Red Star, and they're fighting on an asteroid back-to-back just like this in issue 147. That was intentionally done to actually mimic this cover. Colonel Breakov, is the leader of the October Guard, right? And you had the initial cadre of Guard, which is it's Breakov, it's Dana, which I thought was Dinah for a long time because of the cartoon. They call her Dinah. Stormovic, Shiraj, who was not in the cartoon episode, and Horror Show, who got a good showcase. And so talking about the cartoon, they put him in Sunbow in 1985 in the episode called The Invaders, which is written by Denny O'Neil, famous for comic books, in particular, Batman and Green Lantern and the Green Arrow in the 70s. But Denny O'Neil wrote the October Guard episode in particular. And there's one character in that episode called Wong, who represents, an Asian country as far as being part of, European and Asian collective. But you didn't get Dragonsky yet, who showed up in annual number 2, which, as you were mentioning, Michael Golden's art. Annual number 2, which I met Michael Golden about a dozen years ago at a con. And I said, do you have the back cover of annual number 2?
Oh, that's great.
Didn't have it yet, right? So this card is actually from the 30th anniversary card set that came out. So this 30th card set, 30th Salute to G.I. Joe, 1994.
Mhm.
This card, if you're looking on eBay, you can find it by itself. It's card number 40, but amongst the sets you can get it. There is also a 1987 comic images of this, and it does not have this gorgeous look with it the same way, but it is more direct from the back cover of the print, and that's the October Guard there. But yeah, the October Guard finally got figures, right? And the first figure that came out, as most fans know, or may not know, if you stopped collecting in 88 and 1990, like some of the folks say, then you may not realize that we had Red Star. And so Red Star came out, and this figure was very unique at the time because it being 1991, the Cold War had just ceased. And so between US and Russia, they had a little mix up over there, and they put out the red carded version, which is a Cobra character. And on the back of his card, he had a Cobra symbol on his card, and they had to put
interesting.
a G.I. Joe sticker over it. So he was colored on the card to be red the same way Desert Scorpion, Laser Viper, the Cobras of that year would have been colored.
Oh, wow.
And so, and okay, this is humble brag, right? With me having this one.
No,
Because
go
I
for
got
it.
this from an antiques dealer on eBay who thought they were pricing this one.
Oh, wow.
We don't talk price here, but
It's the good
is
stuff.
usually 3 and 4 times what I got it for.
Yeah.
But there's the differences there for anybody who's never seen the card backs back and forth.
That's
Just
awesome.
as the regular release. Also, the fact that he is soldier from the Ukraine. Like if you care about what's going on in the Ukraine and you want to have like a soldier to represent that, Red Star can be your guy. One of the great Red Star figures that actually came out was this one was a tooth pack with Duke. And so there's an issue that was written that is Red Star versus Duke, and they're on like a train in the comic book that comes with it. And this figure by itself is really nice. It's the kind of thing that you would envision the classified figure to look like. It has a weapon there in the holster, a pistol. He's got the rifle. He has a canteen. He has a great bag, harness, everything there. He actually came at the knife as well, but there's nowhere for him to hold it. And they didn't give Recondo a knife. So my Recondo like this is holding the knife because otherwise he's got a hand that's doing nothing with the open pose.
Yeah, yeah.
And these are mostly just for being posable as far as these figures, I think, are concerned. More than O-rings, more than classified, those are those. Anybody who was collecting in the 90s as well, you could get Big Bear in the next year. So after Red Star in 91, you had Big Bear in 1992. And we just assumed, great, let's get some more. Let's get the figures. And the Joe line ended in 94, right? So there was no more figures available until you started to see the 1997 figures exclusive to Toys R Us. You saw figures in 1998. And now you can actually see they made a 3-pack, which they called October Guard. And they had a Breakov, Gorky, and Volga. Well, you may say, who is Volga? Volga is basically supposed to be Dana. Right. It's the female figure. She looks completely different than Dana does in the comic book. And I say she's a different character as far as I'm concerned. Also, this Gorky figure is Big Bear recolored with just a red beard. Because the Gorky that I like is the one who came from the comic book. The Breakoff figure, though, is right there. And that is Red Star, basically version 2. So if you ever see...
I like that you specified they called them October Guard, because there was a lot of that going on in that era where they just kind of threw stuff together and put a name on it.
They called them that, and they decided they were going to do what they did. There was a Big Bear version 2 that did come out in the International Action Force. So this was one of the mail orders. So you can get this one with Spirit, Big Ben, help me, Noel, and one more, the International Action Force. So this was Big Bear version 2. And it's really nice color, but I mean, this is when
I
again,
like that
figure. It's all black and cool colors, and especially being the mail order figures, harder to find generally. But that's one I say to pick up if you see it, and to realize it's not a custom for some people who look at those things. But finally, we got the October Guard that did get released in packs, and so you had like this one here, and now I got this one 5 or 6 years ago, so really good price on this. I should have bought the other packs at the same time. But here you had straight from issue number 101, which was here, issue called The New Guard. you had Dragonsky, who is the 6th member of the October Guard after the original 5. I said he was the one who came out in yearbook number 2. And then you have Lieutenant Gorky, which is right there, and Sergeant Misha right here. And so they all got their figures created and put in here. And you have great file cards. Hello, classified. Figure it out. Get some cards. I don't know. Just put them online. Make the codes scan to something and be there. But I think these are fantastic figures. So much so that you can get them quite loose and cheaper. And the Misha figure is actually the rarest of the 3. He's the one who seems to show up the least. But if you're interested in the Misha figure, also I would say look at Call Sign Longbow, because they have a Spetsnaz figure that's coming out. That if you like that design in particular, go for that one. I don't have them holding all the weapons necessarily. You saw them just now carded, but there's Gorky right there. Gorky in that comic series, so 101 through about 105, Gorky was flirting with Lady J right in front of Flint, and they were on the run in the Desert Fox, running from the Iron Grenadiers. And I remember being like 12 years old when I read that, and thinking, man, that's bold. Man, you can do that right in front of Flint. And Flint was getting so mad. Like there's a point in this. We'll just go off for a second. There's a point in one of the issues where they're going through the jungle and they realize that there's a chasm up ahead. And Flint is driving the Desert Fox, and they said, "Why aren't you going to stop?" He's like, "There's too much vacillating going on in this. We have to just floor it." And he has the biggest grit, and it's MD Bright art. And they launch over the chasm in the Desert Fox, like screaming to high heaven. You got Roadblock and Muskrat and Misha and Gorky and Lady J and Flint all on there just hanging on to do this Dukes of Hazzard leap. And if you ain't into that, I mean, that is G.I. Joe, right? Like that is like, we're going to jump this sucker. And then, because that tank ain't going to do it, right? And they're going to barely make breaks to stop. But I got into those. I dug those. And so finally, then we got to the October Guard finally got made as the core characters that we wanted from the go. So we had Colonel Brakov, Dana, and Shiraj, and they came in a 3-pack. This is just taped on here, right? These came from the plastic on the front, taped on the cover so they could be kept. And then you got the file cards with them, and there you got the image of issue number 6 where the Guard debuted, and then issue number 7 behind it. Issue number 6 was packaged with this one, I believe, and issue number 7 packaged here with Horror Show, Stalker, and Stormovic. And again, they only had 5 of the October Guard at that time, so Stalker was packaged with them. Another humble brag, I got my Horror Show figure pre-2020 when you could find things on Instagram because the hashtags would still give you stuff in order.
Oh, yeah.
Figures for sale. And so I'm fortunate to have that. If anybody doesn't have a Horror Show figure, look for the deals on this one. Look for lots, but know that like it's a fantastic looking figure. One that's coming out, I think that's going to look similar to it that some people may end up doing customs from is when Carson gets Operation Recall. And there's a character very specifically that has the bulk of this figure. And I think that that's going to be the closest approximation some people get if they never get this one or a custom. But yeah, as far as just the figures, I say get these when you can. Here's Colonel Brakov. His hat does not come off, similar to in opposition to.
I like that. I prefer it.
You can never lose it. The one issue that really comes up with these is the grips on the hands. If you look at some of the hands, they're just barely big enough to hold these weapons. Yeah. And so that Horror Show, he was holding on to the trigger guard, not the handle of that, because I don't want to have a zap situation with my Horror Show. And, you can see different reuse. So actually certain characters, this is Shiraj, and he has mostly made out of Big Ben's body with a different head. And
a lot of those 3-packs, because I had most of those 3-packs from when they first came out. And then one of the first things that I did when we started the show is I bought the ones that I was missing. But most of those are mashup bodies and then newly tooled heads to really look more like the comic books.
They are. This one, Stormovic, if he's a mashup body, then it's from the core, right? Like I was looking at this going, oh, that's a core body, right? Like I was like, I've seen even that undershirt. The good colors on this one. He's harder to get to because again, he's in the pack that includes Horror Show.
Yeah.
And anybody that's a fan of Dana in the comic book, her look from the first arc is here. And so where she has the tank top and the pilot's hat, that you'll usually see in custom figures. But Dana being one of the great female characters that Larry created in all of Joe is deserving of more than Volga.
Yeah, absolutely.
No offense to Volga. I'm sure she's very tough, you know. No shade to Volga, but I prefer Dana.
She's no Dana.
As somebody who has performed as Vladimir Putin before on online comedy show, I have to make sure that I be very careful on who I humanly insulted. One thing I do say too, as far as alternative to October Guard, the Impact characters, which have very limited articulation in the waist, their legs just kick up like 5 kilos. But this character, this is Varga Tolstoy, also known as Professor, and he's got a villainous character, but he is a Russian character, and this was done in like 1991. And so I got this one for a really good price. I never had him loose. One that I did have loose as a kid was this one here, which is Red Wolf. And Red Wolf is, again, he's on the top line there. He's a hero character. But for me, as a kid in 1991, he was an October Guard figure because I didn't have those other ones that existed as a kid.
Nice. Yeah, and that's what we did back then is we figured out stand-ins or whatever.
That's what I got as far as October Guard stuff, right? It's just a little bit of show, a little bit of humble brag, a bit of the collecting bug that we all got. You know, you want to show the people, you want to like dig into it and go, ooh, that does look good. I do want that. Like, man, go get them. When I was buying these loose October Guard figures, about 5 and 6 years ago, like I was getting so much Joe in 2019, and then 2020 hits, and you still go, okay, what money do I need to spend? Yeah, I still have my job, but
prices went crazy, but also availability was, that's what everybody was doing, just sitting at home collecting.
Knowing that those figures were made on demand at the time also, you see, go, how many of those can there really be? And now when they show up in 3-packs, the 3-packs are high dollar, but they're high value too. I got a 3-pack of the LERP set with Stalker, Storm Shadow, and Snake Eyes in their Vietnam gear. And I bit the bullet by getting that pack once, knowing, you know what? One of these days when I see Larry, I'm going to get Larry to sign it. And I got Larry to sign it at the DFW Joe show last year.
I've got one back there that signed twice because the first time he signed it in 2010, he signed it with a Sharpie, and Sharpie fades over time. So I just took it to Joe Fest with me last year and got him to re-sign it with a Posca paint pen. So now I've got a nice permanent signature.
I may do the same thing. I should probably do the same thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. That was awesome. Sure. Everybody check out Nowhere Man-Child on YouTube and on Instagram. That was a great history lesson, man. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Of course, absolutely. And don't read issue Special Missions number 26 before you read the rest of them. Don't read that one. Bobby Nash, don't look at issue 26 before you read it, please. There's one thing that Bobby was saying as far as the core military stories in 1 through 10. Special Missions did that really well. And as somebody like him who is revisiting and digging in, when he gets Compendium 2 and it starts from 51 onward and has alternate stories with the Special Missions, I think he and anybody else who's digging back into these things is really going to appreciate it, and the Guard is going to get extra love again.
Yeah, reading them in the publishing order is really fun. Awesome.
Good
Thanks a lot, man.
See you soon.
All right.
The chat was, real quickly, I just want to say, chat was blowing up during the October Guard conversation, so I've made some notes. Sometime within the next 5 years, we will definitely have to do an October Guard themed episode because we've had some recommendations from Renegades all the way through the comics and the figures that he was talking about. So, so chat, I saw you, and we will get to those.
So we have one more guest contribution, but this one is something a little different. Our old friend Tom Henry wanted to be involved, but didn't want to get on the screen with us. So he has sent along a little video for us to share. And I have to say, it's actually pretty good. And by saying actually, it makes it sound like I'm surprised that it's quality. And you know what? I am. But here we go.
Hi, my name is Tom. Like most dumb guys, I collect dumb things. Guitar pedals, tattoos, and I also disc golf. So it should come as no surprise. Wait, no. There we go. It's beautiful. This thing was designed for kids that believed hiding under your school desk would protect you from nuclear annihilation. Did you need a seatbelt when you rode in the back of your mom's Chevy Nova? Neither did Cobra. Here's hoping you don't get bumped by turbulence. Let's keep those heads on those shoulders. Don't worry about not having a windshield. You've got more pressing concerns, such as the engine exhausting directly onto your tail fin, hopefully not melting it. The front bubble turret is fun because it's a fun game to guess where it's pointing. Your friends can ride on the skids. Just make sure you don't fire the missiles and they're short. This baby has a negator bomb. Do you know what that is? No one seems to, but who cares? Catch you later, Al Negator. You're probably asking yourself, does this guy actually like the Fang? The Fang has a range of 550 miles, but where's the gas tank? Who knows? The Fang stands for Fully Armed Negator Gyrocopter. Armed, not armored. Due to the minimalistic design aesthetic, there's no heads-up display. If there's no heads-up display, there's probably no radio to blast Airwolf to hype yourself up for battle. If you're not hyped for battle, what's the point of the Fang? I'll tell you what the point of the Fang is. The Fang is rad. Do you need a seatbelt, goggles, brakes, GPS, a canopy, or a parachute? No. Do you need to turn fast without being thrown out of the helicopter? If you're aggressive enough, they will turn. Not you. They will turn. You're Cobra. There is no reporting to OSHA. So grab your helmet, hop in what passes for a cockpit, and hope you're heading in the right direction to do some damage to those dirty capitalist Joes. You're in the top of the line, most advanced Cobra Air vehicle. What was that? You said it's a Rattler?
I honestly
was
feel like
great.
I feel like we've peaked, and also I'm going to let Tom Henry know that he now has to do one of those videos for each GI Joe vehicle release. That will be our new series going forward. That seriously though, that was awesome. I laughed my ass off the first time I watched that. That was really good. That brings us to, first of all, thank you to all of our guests. Anybody who's sticking around, we'll bring you back in here in just a minute. But we're going long tonight, and that's just how it is because it's our 200th episode. We got to get to Sound Off because, of course, Sound Off is all about the fans. It's our favorite segment. It's everybody's favorite segment. It leads to Destro contemplating a banana every single time. But this is where, if you're following Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram, every time we're doing a live stream, we put a request out for what do you, the Audible Army, want to talk about. And we've got some to hit tonight. Let's go. From Silent Interlude with a 3-parter. Part number 1, Tactical Shovels. Look, there's still a possibility. I want to make them happen. It's a matter of having the time and the bandwidth to do it, which, as I mentioned, coming up real soon here, I'm going to have a lot of free time. So time to get that concept made. Number 2, can each of you pick a year and tell us your top G.I. Joe figure from that year? Or branch out and choose the best G.I. Joe item from that year. Now, did you guys have the opportunity to look at the sound offs today?
Yes.
Okay, Kristian, what do you got for this?
Okay, so I can thank the podcast for this because I feel like 5 years ago, my answer would have been totally different. But the year is 1970, and there is no one single item, because that is the year that G.I. Joe went Adventure Team, and we got lifelike hair, eagle eyes, kung fu grip, and possibly the greatest villains for G.I. Joe to ever fight, and that is the Intruders.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I kept it kind of simple. I went 40 years into the past. I looked at 1985, and from that year, I think the Snowcat was the best vehicle release, which it's a great year, but that Snowcat, we've talked about it many, many times on the show, even before the HasLab was announced. It's just a great, easily identifiable, unique as G.I. Joe vehicle. I love the Snowcat. And then figure-wise, look, I hate to make a basic B pick, but I don't think it can be argued that Snake Eyes version 2 is the figure of the year. It's one of the best known Joe figures. It's certainly the best known Joe character, maybe aside from Cobra Commander. But that Snake Eyes version 2, is it my favorite figure from that year? Probably not. But man, I really do think it's the highest profile release of that year. And real quick, I'm just going to note, I just got the from Hasbro Pulse. I just got the email notifying me to update my shipping address for the Ecto-1 HasLab. Exciting. Noel, what do you got for this one?
I also said 85. And, it was the year of some Big Joe playsets. And everybody, talks about the flag. I never had a flag, as we talked about, little trauma I had in my youth. But, what else came out that year? It was a nice companion piece to the flag. And to me, this was all my battles were centralized around the tactical battle platform.
Mm-hmm.
I love that thing. I probably got more play out of it than anything else in all of my G.I. Joe collection as a kid. And if I'm going to pair a figure that came out that year as well, you know what? I always loved Flint. Flint was kind of my de facto leader because I never liked Duke.
When I looked at this year, I love the flag. I will someday own a flag again, but I cannot. It's obviously the most impressive thing that came out that year. But as far as a good toy, I almost went with the tactical battle platform. But then thinking about it and just thinking about signature Joe stuff, the Snowcat is just barely ahead of it. But the tactical battle platform is probably the best toy that came out that year. And then finally, the third part with Super 7 clearly leaning into Sunbow in general and the movie in particular. What do you think we'll get next? Pythona and Big Lob are obviously two long-awaited figures, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Chuckles and a bigger Slaughter and Nemesis Enforcer at some point. I'd really like to see O-Ring Snakelings too. So Slaughter, as we all know, takes an extra step of licensing because they have to also get Sergeant Slaughter's I don't know about likeness, but it has to be licensed through him for them to do a Slaughter figure. So I would love to see a Sunbow Slaughter, but I don't know if we will. But with a continuation of focus on the movie, I think we need the rest of, like we were talking about earlier, I want the rest of the Rawhides, and I want the rest of Cobra Law in Sunbow style. And I want Tunnel Rat to be shorter. What about you guys? See coming from Super 7?
I want Zorana in disguise as Heather, who of course infiltrates the Joe base.
Yeah, good call. I like that. And that's very Super 7-y.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't have any for this one that really stuck out because I thought mine were the obvious ones. So, we need the rest of Cobra Law. So,
well, and Super 7's going to Super 7. We can't predict what they're going to do. It's going to be cool, but it's usually going to be a little outside of whatever box you're thinking in. Hoffman says, all three of you say Ice Viper really weirdly. Look, Don't
I
get
was
me
trying
wrong.
to think of how to fit that into my Super 7 answer, and I was like, I don't think they made an appearance in the movie. Darn it.
Yorktown Joe, thank you for the entertainment, both in live streams and audio podcasts. I enjoy listening when I'm not in a place I can watch. Only one Joe adjacent question. What is the best side hustle job to help fund the Operation Monster Force Series 0 out of our wallets? Best wishes for 200 more episodes. Thank you very much, Yorktown Joe. We appreciate the kind words. I will tell you this. Thanks to Pete, who was on earlier, I did host trivia last week, and I will tell you that is not going to cover a whole lot of Operation Monster Force figures. So realistically, probably, I mean, honestly, if we're being real, probably Uber or Lyft. I mean, I actually know several people who do that as a side hustle, and if you've got the time for it and you've got the automobile for it, it's good extra income coming in. You guys know any side hustles? I mean, look, if you've got a massive toy collection you need to get rid of, Whatnot seems to be the thing of choice.
Look, I've had the side hustle that you recently got to experience for the last 22 years. And at one point, I did it 4 nights a week, twice on Mondays. So I will continue to say that is the side hustle.
if you can do the 4 nights a week, then you can cover a good chunk of Operation Monster Force. But if you can only do it once a week, it's not going to be quite as reasonable for you. All right. Scott Stripling Art. Thanks for doing this show, guys. Thank you also for building community and standing against toxic behaviors. Of course, always. Looking back on 200 episodes, what are your personal highlights, funny memories, or achievements you've reached? Looking forward to getting to Battle Force 2000 rank and file cards and beyond. Keep it up. I mean, look, we had a highlight this past weekend of performing Michael Charles Hill's script right in front of him. That's nuts. Let's take a moment and appreciate that. Is crazy that we got to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Live shows are always fun. Being at Joe Fest, Dragon Con, Joe Lanta, whatever, being in front of a live audience is the best. Nothing is better than that. The live streams, obviously, when we started doing those, that's always special because you guys are here hanging out with us. And then all the guests that we've had, the fact that Word Burglar has been on several times just as part of the show, and then we have this rapport with him, all the guests that we've had on, I guess being able to engage directly with the community, that's the best part. Oh, and you know what? Scale Model Joe's, real quick, I just want to say thank you for being a real American hero. Anybody who's working in the library system who's supporting that is an American hero. So thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
What about you guys? Any favorite memories from the show?
So when we did the little Christmas videos a few years ago where we filmed and sent to you and spliced together, and it turned out really well. But also another Christmas memory from me. One of my favorite things that I created during this process was when we did the Cobra Carols, and specifically my parody of Mele Kiliki Maka that I did that year. I'm still proud of that one.
We need to do, and this is on me, just it's a bandwidth thing, but we need to do more of those like video type things where each of us records a little thing and we'll put them together and do a little video. We need to do more of that. We'll get on it. Kristian?
Yep. So I have on here, obviously our live streams, but specifically the countdown for the Cobra Hiss, which I don't know. To me, it was like lightning in a bottle because it was just so much fun. And who would have thought, with where G.I. Joe was, that we'd be doing countdowns for a fan-backed project like so many other toy lines. I got to see Masters of the Universe do this type of stuff
Right.
for years. And now, oh my gosh, Joe has reached the level where we're getting to do it. And, you know, it might sound cliche, but our panel with Larry Hama, you know, from doing the podcast, it has been a firm reminder that the people we grow up admiring aren't going to be here forever. So to get that opportunity was amazing. And I still think about the things that he said.
Yeah, and that conversation we had, because that one that was at Dragon Con last year. It didn't quite go as we expected it to, because one of the panelists that was supposed to appear on that panel didn't make it. But what we got with him and Andrew Lee Griffith was like this amazing conversation. Larry revealed some things that like nobody in the room was aware of. Like we broke news on that podcast.
Yeah, we've really had the opportunity to do a lot of special, unique, like lifetime accomplishment things because of this show. So, and that's, you know, because of everybody supporting it. Whether you spread the word, whether you watch, whether you hang out, whatever the case is, like it's all about this community. It's all about the Audible Army.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's see here. Scale Model Joes. What might Skeletron do next? How do you top the Robo Skull? Well, first of all, you do not top the Robo Skull. Like,
well, not without us instituting a Patreon again and a very expensive tier.
But seriously, I mean, they came out of the gate with what I believe is the greatest toy vehicle of all time, and I say that even over the Whale because it's so insane and crazy. But that's not to say they can't do awesome things, which we've talked about it before. But
well, so when I saw this, I thought the only way you could top the Robo Skull, and it's not necessarily a vehicle, but get them to make the moon base.
Oh, wow, that would be crazy. Well, actually, was there... Okay, is this a custom or is this a thing that was real? Was there a tank version of the Robo Skull? Is that like a custom I saw? Did I make it up in my head?
I think that's a custom because the original one had the walking feature. So it's not even like, you know, it was meant for the wings.
For land, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so what's on the screen right now for anybody who's just listening is the Shadow Track. And we've talked about before how that would be a very cool thing to see. But having said that, imagine a Robo Skull, but reconfigured to be like a tank type of vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's, you know, make a new thing. I think that's a possibility. But yeah, I just don't. I don't think the Robo Skull's ever going to be topped. I don't think it's possible, but there's still lots of cool stuff that Skeletron can do. And I'm sure they've got, I talked to Ben just a few months ago, and there are plans for things. He didn't specify, but they have a future ahead. Oh yeah. Channing says, call it the Skull Crusher. Let's go. I'm in. Finally, Tom.Henry, and it is hilarious to me that Instagram hid his comment. If you're looking at the screen, it says hidden by Instagram. I have no idea why. Tom.Henry says, congratulations, gentlemen. In honor of such an auspicious occasion, can you please let me know what the 200th best ranked Real American Hero figure is, in your opinion? No need to provide one through 199. Hashtag Fang 2025. Hashtag come on, Lenny. I'd buy 200 Fangs.
I think I know why that got hidden, but I'm not going to say it.
This popped out to me not only because, hello, it's Tom.Henry, but I love how Reverend Scott made the comment about, we try to create a very positive environment here. And he doesn't say what is the worst. He says, what's the 200th best?
That's right.
That's right. There's got to be some redeeming quality to this figure. is it?
So did you have picks for this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have my idea, because I was trying to like figure out exactly how many figures were released between 1982 and 1994, and think about what will be kind of. I think there's like 500 and something. What will be right there in the middle? So I got my answer. It's sci-fi.
Okay. Sci-fi is your
He's
200?
200.
You
Yeah.
disgust me. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, as I have often done, I reached off to the side to my Vintage Joe collection, which is right here next to the desk, and I grabbed Leatherneck, but the Battle Core version of Leatherneck.
That's top 5, bro.
I am comfortable saying this is the 200th best figure in Real American Hero.
That one. Look, I built a costume. That's in the top tier for me. That's S tier.
I almost feel guilty now for mine because I don't own it. I don't ever plan on owning anything past 150 of what I consider the best. And but it's going to be Ninja Force Scarlet.
Oh gosh, she's
that's like
way lower than 200.
485.
Yeah, yeah.
No, you would think, but when I'm not including like, the Mortal Kombat or the Street Fighter figures in there, but when I was looking at a lot of the Joe figures, I was like, oh, there's a lot in here that actually, meh.
Oh, wow.
But I would put her above, say, Armadillo.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean,
nobody's disputing that, but
most of Battle Force 2000, not all.
Armadillo looks like a Goomba from Mario Brothers. He's way down there at the bottom.
It's very true. It's very true. That is all the episode we have tonight. We have gone as long as we can possibly go because we are at 200. But before we go, Kristian, tell us a little bit about your toy photography and where we can find you online.
You can see my toy photography on Instagram and Blue Sky under the name Legion Cub.
And that's toy photography. Noel, what about the Finest?
So the Finest is an international G.I. Joe costume club who raises money for an amazing organization called Canines for Warriors. We, of course, just spent the weekend at Joelanta, and I am happy to say that when we tallied everything, we made over $500 at that show that goes directly to charity. That is, and I'm going to humble brag here, the 4th largest take from any show this year thus far for the Finest, only behind DFW Joe Show, Joe Fest, and Toylanta. So the Southern Command is, you know what? We're up there towards the top.
You're
of
running
all the
things.
Fundraisers. That's right.
Very nice. Our music is by Andy Sanford of electricminnowmusic.com. Follow Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram. We are going to bring in, we've got a couple people still hanging out. We're going to bring them in for our big final here. Our next live stream is October the 13th. And until then,
Joe.
Cobra 200.